No, who was that? Black Box, Right on Time.
The song?
I think it is. Yeah,
Except
or the other band that kind of was Black Box adjacent.
So that was Ride, R-I-D-E.
It was Right on Time, I know, but for our purposes.
Yeah, no, it is Black Box because I remember there was a very attractive woman who wasn't actually singing it.
Right.
A model.
Yeah, I know. That's what they all did back then. Hi, everyone. Duggadoo to all who are on this live stream. Thanks for waiting up or getting up or not being here at all because it's way too late.
There's nothing worse than Steven down on Doctor Who. I prefer surgery to listening to him sad about an episode.
Oh, Joe.
Get the anesthetic ready, my friend.
How do you know? How do you know what I'm going to say?
I'm just guessing.
You don't know what I'm going to say.
I'm guessing based on probability.
You have no idea, Warren. Don't put words into my mouth. Wait
I'm
for
not
the
doing
translation.
Any of that. I said I was guessing due to probability.
Yeah, well, I ain't saying nothing. I ain't saying nothing until we press record here. Yeah, Mark, staying up until 1 a.m. Now you know what I've been doing. That's not. I don't get to do that anymore. I don't get to stay up until.
That's what Doctor Who starts for us.
Never did.
Well, what has happened to the magic?
Not anymore. Not anymore because we get it midday next week. So.
Yeah. Welcome to those of you in the UK at 1 a.m. You are dogged professionals on this
loons.
bank
What are you
holiday
doing?
weekend. What 10 a.m. we reasoned in Sydney, Australia is what it is?
You better be drunk is what I'm saying.
Like somebody mentioned it was noon in was it Wellington? Auckland? Somewhere in New Zealand.
But let's wait for this to fill in. Oh, there's one 6-1, by the way. Absolutely hammered the Dallas Stars. They now lead the series 2-1. Yeah.
It was a good game.
It was a great game to work and watch. But that happening right now, 1 a.m. in the UK. It's 6 p.m. here in Mountain Time.
And 5 p.m. Pacific Time.
That's right. So there you go.
1 a.m. in the UK, you guys better be inebriated. Otherwise, what the hell are we doing here? Come on.
Why are you?
You're British, and it's 1 a.m. Why are you not? And you're up. You must be drunk.
And it's a bank holiday.
And you better have a kebab lying on, like you're on the couch and it's just lying there.
Kebab.
Slowly
Listen to you,
cooling.
all posh.
Yeah, exactly.
Like there's already like 75 people in here.
What was
like,
that place
nothing
near
changes.
Simon's place? Adequate Kebab?
What was that place?
It wasn't that, but it was a similar title.
Oh my God! Now you've
Tolerable roadie or something. I don't remember.
Tolerable
it was a
Birani or
kebab
something
place,
like that.
and it was
Yeah,
a
yeah.
very nondescript name, which made us laugh and laugh.
Oh man, that
It might have been Adequate Kebab.
Adequate Kebab. That's Do you think my Photos app would remember that? Do you think I could just zoom
I definitely
in?
took a picture of it, but I'd have to go through several London sojourns.
What part of the world does Simon live in? And like,
Hither Green. He lives in Hither Green.
where? Oh, does he? Is he the one with Frank Muir? Is it Frank
So I
Muir?
shouldn't be. Yes, and they shouldn't be giving away where Simon lives, by the way.
No, but this is because he had John Williams will know exactly who I'm talking about.
Yes, I have been at that very wall. Yes.
When I have that wall inside.
I asked, who is that guy? And it's Frank Muir. And just today,
Frank
John
Muir.
Williams. John
Guys,
Williams
listening.
and Neil Perryman on the latest World of Telly. I was like the guy with the yarn and the map when you were talking about all the different broadcast sub networks. I was like, oh my God, come on, put it in my arm. I fucking want this. Oops, salty language.
Hey,
it's not for
come on.
This is not for the proper. That's just for the live stream. Bit of salt.
Click like if you like this video. Subscribe to. All right.
John Williams saying he has kissed that wall.
No,
I wonder
I'm
if
not
I can find
surprised.
Frank Muir in mine.
Not surprised.
Did you just search for Frank Muir? I did find this, which is a
No.
latte artist made for me in Toronto.
Wow.
Off that, see, that's
that
Jody
right?
up there on my
Jody
phone.
Whittaker,
and
right, I got you.
And this guy has later become famous for that. Like, but that's on a latte. That's insane. Then I drank it.
I drank the latte. Anyway, there. Get a little bit. There we go. There it is. A little bit of there. Get going. How are we doing here? What time are we got? 6. It's only 5 minutes into this little pre-banter. Usually we wait another 5 minutes for it to fill up a little bit, but I don't know. I haven't watched this episode in a day and a half, and it feels like I've forgotten everything.
Did you watch it more than once? Or not?
Just twice. I've watched it once, and then
There's my Frank Muir.
and then 1 second. There you go. Yeah, probably taken the same day. And then I watch it with Erica the next morning on Saturday morning, and then she usually records Flashcast for Incomparable. But of course, next week, let's hope the
Verity this afternoon.
Yeah, let's hope the Oilers wrap it up in 5 games.
John, I will take you up on that.
6. What's
Personal
that?
tutorial on ITV anytime you like.
Love it.
I'm hoping to come to England next year. So if you're around in September 2026 in London for 2 or 3 days,
I'll go to
determined.
Go to the Northeast.
I've never been to the Northeast. I wouldn't mind going to the Northeast.
Well, the plan is to go to London for a weekend, then take off to Paris and Italy. So,
Oh, where they shot.
if I'm still employed, we'll see.
Are you just looking? Wow, what good.
That's just me being a pessimist.
Obviously,
nothing
yeah.
particular.
Are you going to Paris and Rome just to visit shooting locations for City of Death and then the studio where they shot Fires of Pompeii and then leaving? Or
Well, duh.
okay,
No, never been to either, so I want to check them both out.
Yeah, so that gives you a year and a bit to find a girlfriend called Duggan.
Bye, Duggan. I'm still
And
going to
then,
say
and then
it.
ditch her
I
in Paris.
absolutely am going to say it. If I'm-
break. Just wait here, okay? Don't go. And then
Here's the thing. I'm pretty
Awkward
sure I'm not
flight
the first
home.
person to say bye, Duggan at the Eiffel Tower. I'm sure I'm not anywhere close.
3 people have done that. I'll bet. All of them who are here in the audience for the live
I
stream.
did not do that when I went up the Eiffel Tower. I'll say that much. Or did I? I don't know.
I mean,
Well, that was many years ago.
I landed in London and I played the All Creatures Great and Small theme for my sister just to irritate her. Because when we got to New York and first time she'd ever been there, I fired up the Wall
Right.
Street Week theme and we're walking around near Penn Station.
Right.
All time PBS banger.
Ah. God. Anyway, are we ready to do this? You want to do this?
Yeah,
Want to go to podcast?
Let's do this.
Letting everybody wait for long enough.
Let's do this.
Let's do this, everyone. All right. Sorry, I kind of didn't want to do this whole podcast with Dugadoo on a loop in the background, but I got to do it. I gotta shock myself out
It's
of it.
probably a copyright strike if that happened or something.
I don't think so, actually. I don't think so until Murray Gold finally commits to putting something onto disc so we can buy it. It's still free to the
Good luck.
world.
10 years from now.
Exactly. Until then, wherever will we get our Murray Gold fix? Oh, I know. Every single second of a Doctor Who episode.
And then some.
Uh-huh. All right. That's it. All right. That's on it. We're about to start. Are you ready? Are we ready? How are we doing, kids? You ready to do podcast? Okay, let's see the podcast. Okay, here we go. What episode is this? 1016? 1016. Did something happen in 1016?
The year?
Yeah.
I don't know. Check Wikipedia.
Magna Carta. Just light that
Happy
gas
Magna
fire.
Carta Day.
Happy Magna Carta. Yeah. All right. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Radio Free Skaro, episode number 1016. I am Stephen in Edmonton.
Warren in Vancouver.
And Chris in Edmonton.
For those of you who wait by your podcast catchers for this episode to drop at, 2 p.m. Eastern every day on the Sunday. We're a little later this week because I worked a Oilers playoff game for the second year in a row. A Doctor Who season is coinciding with an Edmonton Oilers Stanley Cup playoff run, thus dividing my loyalties and my attention, I dare say. So I don't remember anything about the Doctor Who episode we're about to talk about, Wish World. So I want to know, who do I want? Who went first last week? We're going to review this, by the way. Was it you, Warren, who went first? No, it was
Wasn't
Chris.
it you?
Oh, was it? Okay.
Wasn't it Stephen?
It was Chris because it was the Eurovision thing. We
Right.
wanted to get your.
You're right.
That was a week ago. That feels like so long ago.
It does. Well, I can go first if you want.
Warren, can I ask you right now on this podcast that we've done since 2006, what did you think of Wish World?
Well, I thought, let me put it this way.
All right.
I liked the vibes of it. If you look underneath the surface,
Right?
but the vibes themselves, I
If you look under the surface, apparently it's Omega, but
yes.
Isn't Vibes how we left off the last RFS?
Yes, it is. Vibes is basically how this thing is going to go. Probably next week too. So
Yeah.
I liked when he woke up. I know they've done it before, but I did like how he wakes up. He doesn't know who he is, even though the television is telling him incessantly who he is. Like
that's true. But he doesn't know. He doesn't know.
But
that
he
he's
doesn't
Doctor
know.
Who.
I liked sort of the whole off-kilter prisoner feel of that, like just the weird, kind of menacing suburban vibe that they were putting off. To use vibe again, so that part I quite liked. The Ronnie stuff doesn't make any damn sense, but it was done with a certain amount of verve, so I didn't mind that part. But I like the Ronnie zipping around on her like bone scooter or whatever it is.
Right. Yeah.
The dinosaur stuff, they just don't explain it, and I. No. So
But it's a wish. It's a wish world, though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
You just wish whatever.
And I also liked the whole thing where, well, he doesn't see disabled people, so we aren't seen. I thought that was kind of a neat twist. And also, it's a weird world where apparently there is no racism. There sure as hell is patriarchy and homophobia, though, and ableism. But for some reason, not racism.
And misogyny.
And misogyny, yeah. So all that was interesting, and it's not slower paced, but it wasn't the grocery list of stuff that usually the first part of a second part of or the first part of a two-parter is. So I kind of found that weirdly refreshing because they just kind of, I don't know if held back is the right word, or just did it a little differently. It wasn't like Stolen Earth and all the rest of it where they're just piling thing upon thing upon thing. I always use Stolen Earth, but there's other examples too.
Right.
But that just means next week probably we're going to pile a whole bunch of nonsense. And RTD loves to do this. It's a black hole generator since we're on a mountain for some reason in Last of the Time Lords. This is not just current. This is way back when RTD as well. He just loves to go, hey, surprise, surprise thing. Or the Osterhagen key is my other eye roll.
Oh,
favorite.
yeah.
So I just got a feeling a lot of that's going to happen next week. I think Archie Panjabi as the Ronnie is very funny. She's kind of a Timu Missy, but she's still pretty funny. I don't know how much of a scientist she is because she is kind of more, I don't know, she was always evil by dint of what she was, but now she's just kind of cackly evil a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
And would a scientist buy into all this magic nonsense in the first place? I don't think so. So that's just my take on it. But overall, I didn't mind it.
Chris wins the Knock the Mic award this time around.
Yeah.
Warren,
for now.
Taking Warren's dynasty away from him.
Oh well.
I say that so I don't have to edit it out later. But
So anyway, I didn't mind it. I watched it twice. Don't think too hard about it.
Yeah,
it's good. But
right?
I didn't hate it. How about that?
Well, let's see what opinion we come to as we go along.
I get the feeling I might be the guy again.
I don't know. You know what? I don't know. Actually, you know what? And it might be because it's a two-parter, and it made me realize that I think every episode of Doctor Who should be a two-part story because it was nonsense, granted, but it breathed. Like I was worried they would get over, like the Doctor would realize in 3 minutes that this isn't the world that he's supposed to be in, but they actually let it go throughout the entire episode, literally at the very end.
And I think Shuey did a great job of being this kind of
I liked him in this.
Yeah.
I liked him in this with the way he sort of had that like, wait a second, what's going on here? And like, oh no, wait, when he gets caught out for being gay. Because that's wrong in this world of Conrad.
That was genuinely kind of like, oh, this is a problem.
Yeah, I know. I liked Gatwa in this. I like the pacing of it. The nonsense is nonsense, but we'll get to that. But Chris, I'm very curious to see what your initial reaction to this.
Very curious to see it. I was supposed to do dioramas or what?
Yes, please. Puppets like Homer trying to explain, or Bart explaining things to Homer.
I mean, I'll keep this probably briefer than Warren. I went into it expecting nothing, and hey, that's what we got.
Ooh, zing! That's brief.
No, in the sense that, in the sense that this is a setup episode.
Boy.
So like looking at the live stream chat, looking at things I've seen on social media and whatnot, people with a zillion questions, and it's like, yeah, well, that's what this is for, is to raise those questions. We get those answers next week. People who are lambasting, because I've seen a lot of vitriol over this episode already. Those who are lambasting it are doing so with very, very, very incomplete information, and I think that's really not fair to the show.
That's true.
So I didn't get much out of it, but I didn't expect to. And next week is where that changes.
Yeah, that's a pretty good way to put it, actually.
Yeah. Stolen Earth back in the day, I was very, very, I thought it was a very good episode. At least
I still find it a lot of fun to watch.
Stolen Earth, I really, 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 really enjoyed at the time, and then revisiting it after the fact, however many years afterward, it all falls apart.
It's great build-up, but boy, oh boy, is Journey's End crap.
Yeah, it's all vibes. That is, and there's a similar, you see, yes, it rhymes. RTD rhymes a lot. Let's face it.
But this, like you said, Breeze, it doesn't have that pacing and energy, which actually is a positive.
Yeah.
Great reference to Graham Harper.
Graham Harper. Conrad wished this world into existence for some reason, because apparently only he could wish a world that had this in it.
Well, with the baby, what's his name there?
No, it's because the Ronnie liked him, I guess. And that's why
I don't want a redemption
That's why
arc
he was
for him.
set free from
Yeah.
jail.
Yeah.
Put it that way. I do not need a Conrad redemption
Yeah,
arc. at
but
all.
that type of person,
I don't think
honestly,
we'll get one.
I don't think so either. I think if there was any time, and I wouldn't usually accept anything done by AI, but I think if you're going to go meta, Conrad is exactly the type of person who goes on, look at this artwork I made, and it's completely AI. And I think that all of his world that he imagined should have been like some AI nonsense or something like that, because that's what he would come up with.
With that
What if
weird
it's
glow?
That's basically what it is.
It kind of is, but
It looks
was
better
done
than
by-
most AI art, but yes.
by actual people and stuff like that. Yeah, and those wonderful little TV sets and stuff, because it's sort of like pseudo 50s and
Yeah,
but
except when it
today-
isn't, because his room's got a modern computer in it and a couple other things,
Yeah,
Yeah,
in the weird
retro-futurism kind of.
Yeah,
and a '90s camcorder.
in the Bone Palace.
Episode 9 of WandaVision.
I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is.
Probably
Marvel.
for the best. Probably for the best.
I know it's a
tried.
Marvel thing. Did what's his name? Was that guy in it? The guy from
The guy was in it. I don't know which guy.
Yeah.
you know what I mean? The guy was in Master Commander Far Side of the
Red
World.
Witch and Vision.
Paul Bettany.
Yes,
Bettany.
yes,
yes.
Paul Bettany, whose father, Thane Bettany, was in State of Decay back in
Well.
1980. There we go. State of Decay. You know what? I saw the bit there when the Ronnie's flying around on the scooter, and the first thing I literally thought of was Flash Gordon.
I thought of Wicked, which I haven't seen, so maybe I'm wrong.
Oh, really? I saw this is 100%
They're both
Flash
dressed in red.
Gordon. They were dressed in red. They were flying around on a scooter that looks exactly the same. and
Flash
stuff
is
like
more
that.
camp than the Ronnie. I almost said Missy. Than
Is
Ronnie.
it though? Like, I have to ask now. I think at that actual
Brian
moment,
Blessed has been in both Doctor Who and Flash
they
Gordon.
has been.
true.
The links are irrefutable.
And
To
Toasted
ask,
London.
to ask the immortal question from that podcast, is it camp?
Very nice. Very nice.
I think Doctor Who officially, the RTD2 era with that Ronnie segment flying around, it's camp.
Oh, yeah.
It
Very
is
much
now
so.
camp. I don't know. What you think of camp is what you think of camp, but I don't know. Is that a declaration?
It can be used for good or evil.
maybe.
Hey, I love John Waters. Most of his stuff is camp as hell.
I also feel like they're really playing into the Ronnie camp aspect of it. But let's face it, the Ronnie wasn't as much camp as everyone's reaction to the Ronnie for the past 35 years. That's been it's kind of been the build up to it, you know?
The Ronnie
You know?
dressed as Mel is pretty damn camp.
Which we haven't seen yet, damn it.
I would, yeah, it'd be interesting to see.
Let's go.
They're gonna meet. They better meet.
Mel, as part of the finale, as part of the resolution, Mel will dress as the Ronnie, infiltrate the Bone Palace,
Right.
trick people into doing her bidding, and somehow that makes it.
And there'll be
the
Tet traps
Doctor
for
win.
some reason.
Sure.
That chap's gonna come back, maybe. I don't know. Do you think it's camp, Chris? Has it always been camp? What is the level of camp that Doctor Who is at right now? Because I think this is. I feel like this is.
I'm
as
not.
high
I'm
as
not.
it
I'm
might
not.
be.
I'm
Camp
not the
Force
best
One.
judge. I'm not the best
Yeah.
judge for that. Although in Interstellar last week, the Doctor does say, "Ooh, camp," or whatever.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I think it's been that way. You know.
Saying
yeah.
Camp Force One reminded me of the phenomenal song from about 15 years ago by Bear Force One, which is an actual band of a bunch of bears singing disco songs. I think. It was.
Okay. Yeah, I bet.
And there's just guys in like the video. They're big bear
Right.
dudes. I just love the name Bear Force One so much.
Right. That's lovely. I was thinking of the little bears and the little cars and the
No, these
Moscow
are
Circus.
the
but
other kind of bears.
Understood.
probably didn't get paid $400
Not from
$400
Qatar.
million dollars from Qatar.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, the Ronnie's back in full force in this episode, with the Ronnie as her companion for some reason. Again, there's how do we feel about the Ronnie? I think Punjabi
don't-
does okay, but she
She does fine. Yeah.
She's fine. I don't like this whole dynamic. It's weird. Like maybe that's on purpose, but just the whole thing of one of them being subservient to the other. They're both the Ronnie. I mean,
We've seen it before with John Sim and Michelle Gomez.
yeah,
both
but
on
neither of
screen.
those
Well,
were subservient to the other, though.
Let's
They were
face it,
equals.
we've seen it before with
True.
John Sim and Alexandra Moen as Mrs. Saxon.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess you're right.
This feels more of that relationship.
But they're
like,
not the same
you know?
person, and this is the same person essentially. You know,
That's
and
true.
this is a stupid thing to get stuck on, but I don't know. It just kind of bugs me a bit.
and you get the impression the way that Mrs. Flood doesn't like making sandwiches. You can tell that they're laying the groundwork. That's there's going to be
make a good sandwich.
Absolutely, she's gonna be the good Ronnie.
There's going to be a stab in the back here at some point, and
it's time
and
to
Ronnie's
stand
gonna
with
go down.
the Ronnie. It's where you've always been going.
Yeah. Oh, that makes me think of Dr.
Yes,
Falls.
Oh, it's so good.
It's
Anyway.
good Doctor Who.
Carry on.
Yeah. Just thinking about the Capaldi era. Sorry, I know I've been down on this era of Doctor Who, and I try not to be. Like I said, I right now I'm feeling I like this episode the most out of the three of us.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
I think so.
I
It is
don't,
nonsense.
I don't think it's a high bar to clear.
No.
but-
No, but there has been. I mean, this is another case where I might start to find things wrong with it. But like the Ronnie explains literally everything that's happening to a doctor that is just standing there and listening, basically, and that like that's what happens to the timeless children. It's like the doctor. Okay, we got you here. Let's begin my PowerPoint presentation to see what actually happened to you for the last 20 minutes, and now here we go.
Is that better or worse than the Ronnie explaining things to two characters at the end of Interstellar that don't know or care? Or whatever?
That would be worse. That would be worse, and that's what we got. And I suppose the doctor is not like she's explaining it,
and he's not the doctor yet, right?
Yeah, she's explaining it to get the doctor to remember who he is, basically. But the fact that they make this huge exposition thing and then say this isn't just exposition, like you can't just hang a lantern on
and don't
that.
call her Shirley.
Yeah, but so I wish. If there's exposition, I like it better when there is like a back and forth, an ability to go back and forth, where one person is maybe understanding as they're going along and can ask questions. But the doctor's just he's just shocked the whole time and he's gonna let it around. Why is there a mirror ball in the Bone Palace? The Barani was never about mirror balls.
Because camp, like you said.
Again, this is.
I mean, I found it funny, but.
I did, but she veered into a little bit like Missy Master territory before
and
she
to
came
be fair,
out of it,
what does the Master do in Power of the Doctor?
That's the Master,
like a ninny.
different character.
I know. I'm just saying the camp is not just the RTD era. That was a bit campy too.
Yes,
True.
yes.
Yeah.
No Rasputin this time.
Yeah.
I don't know. The mirror ball, disco ball, that's just RTD just smoking up at home one day saying, wouldn't it be cool if...
I suppose so. We could just put that in, and I'll just put that in my invisible typewriter. So that part was something to deal with. I like the parents coming by.
Although, parents get a bad rap in this. Does RTD have issues? Because every parent rats out their kid in this, basically.
I know, like Carla.
That's more
Carla
societal
Sunday.
than...
How many times has Carla sold out Ruby?
Yeah, like enough of that, please. That's really unpleasant.
Yeah.
And we also saw that straight after Ruby reminisces about the other 2025 she saw in 73 yards.
That's true. Yeah, that too.
So it's like back-to-back reference kind of thing.
Yeah. That was all right. Listen, let's should we talk about Omega? Should we do that? You want to talk about Omega?
I mean, when we never saw him, we just heard his voice, or his, I'm presuming.
Stephen Thorne, yeah.
Yeah, I was just like, all right, yeah, I guess so.
Well, they already. So last week we played a clip from September where we accurately joked and got right that Archie Punjabi was going to play the Ronnie, or Susan, or Mrs. Flood. I think we were all right in there at some point. Well, here let's throw back to last week. Okay, last week is what we said. Here's what we said about who might show up in the finale. This is from last week on Radio Free Skaro.
Fantastic. Great build-up.
I'm sure there's going to be a big shock reveal. Someone's going to say directly to camera, you remember me. I'm just trying to think.
Yes.
I'm trying to conjure up.
See, you got to have somebody fabulous. So that's why I'm saying it's Omega, because he's fabulous in both his incarnations.
Oh, that's right.
But you got to have original OG Omega.
It'll be OG Omega to look like that.
And now they can afford name brand Rice Krispies for him.
We won't be talking. Actually, maybe it is an Arc of Infinity.
Yeah, Peter Davison stumbles in covered in Rice Krispies. He's bi-generated from that doctor or whatever.
It's a bi-generation.
Which makes no sense because that's Omega.
It's a bi-generation, and Peter Davison shows up, and he's there, and he bi-generates into Omega from Arc of Infinity
with Rice Krispies on his face that he can't get rid of.
On his face.
I keep eating these damn things, and they keep regenerating.
Anyway,
after all that, why did nobody say that Omega bi-generated and both the Omegas we've seen in the past are going to show up?
That's true.
I put it this way to a friend of mine, one of the people off at camp, who hasn't seen Three Doctors yet. And I one of the things that I sent a picture of OG Omega, and I said, "Look at this glittery diva."
Right. And he was great in that, wasn't he? Are we surprised that we haven't seen him? So this is another thing. Like
I am,
basically
honestly.
Yeah, me too. He's talked about as if the fans would know what that means.
Yeah.
But then they're not shown. So I hope you enjoyed that, people who've never seen Doctor Who before.
Maybe because we got 2 Ronnies last week, this week as well.
Right.
That they're holding back the introduction, or, and this is where somebody can, remark how famously wrong I'm going to be about this.
Okay.
Omega's got nothing to do with it. This is just a put on, just a ruse, just a distraction.
Maybe.
Ooh.
But she does say the first Time Lord,
I'm
which
sure that's
is
not the case, but
Yeah.
which is the first.
The
however
first-
many ago regenerations of
Okay,
the Doctor
so-
now. So
Right.
but that's not. So the Timeless Child, Tecteun experimented on the Timeless Child and introduced regeneration to the Time Lords. And that's how Time Lords came to be.
Sure.
So Omega wasn't the first Time Lord.
no, that's what I'm saying.
According
that's
to
what I'm saying. Given the current lore,
Right.
it's true,
Yeah.
and so Omega isn't, but she says he is.
so
so
Tecteun is back, is what you're saying.
I have no idea what I'm saying, and I might be in the same boat as RTD on this one. So
Just because she died in the in time.
no, I'm
Power
just
of the
saying these
Doctor or
two
whatever,
these
but
two
not theirs.
lores conflict. So how is RTD going to weave this one together? Probably in a
not.
very silly way.
That's just it. He's not.
Chris, I think, is expressing doubt.
I am.
Chris,
I
am
just heard a
so-
cup fall through a table here from Chris's doubt that RTD's not going to pull this thing off.
I am so fearful of the conclusion of this. So fearful
I mean,
of it.
yeah, you're not wrong.
RTD, RTD cannot stick the landing. I'm sorry. Great writer, great story, like ideas and whatever, but
Right.
Children of Earth, he stuck the landing. I'll give him that.
completely incapable of sticking the landing.
He did stick the landing, Children of Earth.
That's once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More or less years and years.
I think I said this to you, Warren, in a private chat or something like that. But as we're getting near to the end of season 2 of this Disney Who experiment, this RTD2 experiment, I feel like I was expecting the RTD that gave us Children of Earth years and years. It's a Sin, like a little more hard and jaded RTD.
I like that RTD.
And instead,
We
we
got
got
camp.
Sarah Jane Adventures RTD.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, not quite, but yeah.
Like if there's a fence.
Oh,
and
there you go.
here's,
Okay. I'm going to stop you there, and then we can have
right.
another bi-generation with the Ronnie, where Ronnie from Sarah Jane splits off from Archie Punjabi.
Why?
Did you notice there was an actual clip from Dimensions in Time in this episode of Doctor Who? There was an actual
yes,
clip.
yes.
Not happy about it. Not happy about it.
Second time in 2 years.
Dimensions in
Disgusting.
Time is now officially canon in the Doctor Who
There
universe.
is no such.
The-
Say it with
They-
me. Thing
they-
is official pretend.
They
The-
didn't get a clip of it for Doctor Who Unleashed, so that I found interesting. So they only cleared it for the actual episode. But
As I guess didn't bother finding out last year, but did find out in reading stuff after this.
right.
In Rogue. Hey, we got to talk about him later.
Rogue, right, yeah.
In
I
Rogue,
forgot about him,
the
yeah.
series of images of the Doctor's past faces. The Pertwee one was taken from Dimensions in Time. So,
Interesting.
so it's our second Dimensions in Time in two seasons.
And Anita Dobson was not in EastEnders at the time of Dimensions in Time, right? As that I don't recall her. Otherwise,
can
we
say?
would have heard it. We would have heard it by now. I know that what's her name from Are You Being Served is in there, and that guy Mike Reed was in it, who was in the War Machines.
Sure.
He was, I think. Anyway, Dimensions in Time is now is the second most camp Doctor Who thing ever made.
After this? No, this Dimensions in Time is way worse.
after we had Flash Gordon on her space
Which is also
thing.
part of Doctor Who canon
Stuff
now.
like that. It is because Timothy Dalton is in Flash Gordon, and he played Rassilon, Warren.
Oh, that's
so,
true. All right. Okay,
and
fine.
Peter Wingard's in it.
Who I
as
couldn't remember the name of
Clytus.
a couple weeks
He's
ago.
playing, yeah, as Clytus. There's a
Oh, I
two or three
forgot he
other
was
actors.
Clytus, yeah.
Yeah, huh? Let's watch Flash Gordon next week.
No, I don't like it. I think it's pretty
Oh,
bad, actually.
okay.
I've never actually seen it all the way through.
I tried. I couldn't get through it.
My God, it is the campest and most wonderful thing
Well, the first part's right. The second part, not so much.
It is. And John Hollis, thank you, person in the chat there. John Hollis from the Mutants, and of course played Lobot in The Empire Strikes Back. Was also in an episode of Blake's 7. I feel like we're kind of all over the place. What are we?
Let's talk about Rogue.
We always are.
My thing about Rogue is that I keep forgetting he exists because I know a lot of people love Jonathan Groff because I told him and a bunch of other stuff, and I barely know who he is. So he showed up on TV, and I was like, "Oh yeah, okay, I remember that guy now." But it took me a second because I didn't mind the episode Rogue; it was fun,
right?
But I just kind of forgot that this was a love interest until you see him react to it, and Shooty react to it.
I found it very interesting in watching Unleashed how they at the read through for this, how they brought Jonathan Groff into it.
That was great. Did you watch that, Warren?
There.
Yes, I did. I've seen Unleashed.
He wasn't there. They just showed the green screen recording.
And the reading of it, didn't know about it. It was cool.
I thought that was pretty cool. Actually, they did that really well. I was wondering when they did that because I could tell it was obviously on green screen. They probably shot it up without anybody's involved. The fact that they basically said, "Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed Rogue. Do you want to do one more thing?" Like I just assumed that he was like in New York like 8 days ago or something like that.
And that's why he says Hell Dimension because it's pretty vague as to what the hell is going on.
Yeah.
He doesn't say the Underverse. He just goes, "This Hell Dimension I'm in."
Yeah, that's true. So I thought that was a kind of a neat little moment.
I didn't link that with Underverse. Okay.
Well, I did after the fact when they said I
like that.
Yeah.
Oh, you think?
I think he's in the Underverse.
Possibly one more question to be answered next.
I don't think.
What's an RDD finale without a big cameo by somebody, right? Maybe that's my 14 shows up and helps out. That's Rogue showing up and helping out.
I think I don't know. Maybe he'll appear on green screen. I think he basically did that scene and jetted right back to New York City.
Yeah, probably.
To be in whatever play he was in.
I wonder if he got a second episode of Fee.
Yes, of course he did. Because he was in the episode. Pat Gorman he would die in the end of episode 1 and then come back as a corpse in episode 2, and you still pay Pat Gorman. Don't you ever
how adamant you are about that.
I think
don't think about skimping Pat Gorman.
The economics of TV are a little different now than they were in the 1970s.
Yeah, you get paid.
I'm sorry to say.
You get paid money to be in things today. That's how it works, Chris.
Yeah, I did back then too.
Maybe your cheapskate TV studio doesn't pay its actors and performers.
I would love to see
like
Chris run a TV studio.
I would love
into the ground, presumably, but I still want to see it.
Very quickly.
What else we got here? What else?
Susan.
Whoa. All right. We're not done with Rogue, are we?
Chris. Go ahead.
I'm not done with Rogue. I haven't really said anything. I was surprised to see him appear. Happily surprised, I guess. I mean, I've no particular affinity for the actor or the character, but it's still nice to see him. And then, as Warren, I think you said earlier, that was the precursor to the Doctor getting reported is his, because Rogue says, "I love you," and the Doctor, what the hell? What did the Doctor say? He didn't say he loved him, but
you could tell from the acting.
There's this man, whatever. But
how could you call a man beautiful? Is what he.
No, that was shocking. That was genuinely shocking.
That was before. There was Ibrahim.
All right.
At Unit.
Right.
Which later on the notes about that.
Oh yeah.
Probably.
Looking forward to the notes here. Yeah.
But whatever the exact wording was, because I can't quite recall, and I don't have it playing out in front of me as Stephen probably does. But I liked the Rogue appearance. That was good.
Where else was I going to talk about? Oh, you know what I did like? I liked the fact that Ronnie's plan was to actually break this silly world. Like, that was the twist, which I kind of like.
Break the world, no. Harvest doubt from the world, yes.
Harvest doubt, but the perfect
or the power of whatever doubt creates.
Right, and knows that the Doctor would probably figure out the entire world, and once he does, we can.
The point,
Yeah, and that's why she's like unscrewing the weird bolts of off the balcony.
Thing can fall off afterwards. Yeah,
very slowly for a thing that's falling. I thought, but then again, it's not It's not Mavity. One more week of Mavity, everyone. It's not Mavity.
Don't say it in line between the line and the sea, I'm sure.
That's no, I don't know. I feel like a lot's going to get put back in the box and put to bed.
Oh, maybe.
At the end of next week's episode. He said, hopefully, because go ahead. We're just basically writing the obituary for RTD's Doctor Who tenure here, but leaving his successor potentially with this Mavity thing would be like the worst thing ever.
Possibly, yes.
Yeah. Anyway, I like that. I like the twist. I like that that was the twist. That the Ronnie for some reason indulged in magic ever so briefly. Her TARDIS is around somewhere. Obviously, she has a TARDIS because she's
the Bone Palace does not appear to be her TARDIS.
No, but
although it could be. We don't know.
Yeah. There's a giant seal of Rassilon in it, which it's
Well, in the trailer. Sorry.
Very, very much pointed out as the seal of Rassilon.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
But in the next time trailer, she says, "I'm going to rebuild Gallifrey using Omega's body." So I don't know. I mean, at least they're trying to rebuild Gallifrey. Well, I'll give it that instead of destroying it for a third time.
Let's talk about that when we accurately predict what's going to happen in next week's episode towards the end of this. Yeah, that's true. I know how many notes you got there, Chris. I'm just thinking if we could use those talking points as we do. You got
one of the things. Let's talk about the Ronnie for a sec. One of the things I've seen a lot of, and I guess this kind of crosses one of my notes is here anyway. A lot of people saying it's not the Ronnie, it's just like another master kind of thing, and I think the lines kind of got blurred a bit because of John Sims' later portrayal of the Master, and especially Sacha Dhawan's portrayal of the Master.
And Missy's camp as hell too.
And Missy, but this whole planet thing is more or less an experiment, and like at one point in time, Ronnie says it's a shame these little people have to die. I was getting quite fond of them. So, number one, when did she start caring about her experiment subjects? Because she never really has in the past.
No, that's what set her apart in Mark of the Ronnie. It's just like, I guess these two can't go. And all right, well, let's just kill them. Bloop, bloop, and then kills them in the Mark of the Ronnie.
Yeah, but the bigger thing is it was still her running an experiment, and that is very Ronnie-esque. And
that's true. That's true.
I don't care for all the comparisons with the Master because, I mean, they're not inappropriate, but they're not
helpful
totally there either.
Yeah, it's the style. It's her style of things, which sort of like the ballroom dancing thing. They said we were lovers dancing in Persephone. That feels like a Dr. Missy,
or a Dr. Master for that matter. Yeah.
Especially with the waltz and everything like that. It felt like the waltz was written in. I know you had something to add there, Warren. I'll get to you.
No, that's fine.
Okay, that the waltz thing felt like, okay, this is a massive exposition dump. What can we do to spice this up a little bit? I don't know, ballroom dancing for a little bit of it. Let's go to this room and look for him, but you can't go in now. Let's go back here and mirror ball. Let's go dancing, and it's a way of sort of splitting up the exposition dump, which it was a pretty big exposition dump. Let's face it, pretty big. Yeah.
And also at the end when the Ronnie and the Doctor are talking out on the balcony thing, and then the Doctor's just he starts to remember or whatever, but and then off screen the Ronnie goes in and locks him out, and that's like that.
I have two random observations. That's why I was raising my hand. One, Poppy is the most adorable baby I've ever seen in my life. Ridiculously adorable child.
Right.
Especially because she's not talking; she's just being a baby. And two, the Ronnie at the beginning does not have a nose ring, and then later on she shows up with a nose ring. Did she go to the mall and do that at some point?
She stopped by Claire's. And
exactly. I couldn't remember the name of the place. Claire's. That was it.
I noticed. I was trying to think. Did I misremember her not having a nose ring?
I watched the second time, and she didn't have it in 17, whatever it was, and then she did when she shows up in 2025.
Okay. The year was different. Okay.
Presumably, it's not really explained. God,
it looks cool. I'm nothing against that.
That's going to be the theme of everything in this episode, and I already. But when Ronnie captures the baby, she says, we've got 160 years, etc. 2025. I'm assuming she just went straight from Bavaria to this wish world.
Like kiss the baby, make some ducks and flowers, and an owl.
The kissing the baby is borrowing the baby's power.
The wish energy. Yeah,
it's still annoying, but yes. Also, the violet effect was really cool. I have to say
it was. Yeah, it looked pretty
very well done.
It looked good. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then this is a quick side note about Unleashed, with RTD sitting there saying, "Oh, I wonder if they had a duck wrangler." They probably had a duck wrangler.
And they had a duck wrangler, but he wasn't on set that day. Yeah. Is that what I was going to say? I can't remember. I thought I had something queued up. Or was I just going to ask Chris to refer to your notes? If you want to refer to your notes, I don't know.
Yeah. I have Susan thoughts, but I'll wait till that you get to that.
I don't know if I'm ready for that yet.
Yeah, okay. Keep going then. Go nuts. What do you? What else? What else do you got, Chris?
We see Susan very briefly. What did you want to mention about her, Warren?
Just that I think that at the very end, the doctor goes, "I have a daughter. You know what that means?" And I assume that means that Susan is the daughter of
Poppy's
Poppy.
daughter?
And Poppy is a grown-up Poppy gives birth to Susan, presumably, or maybe he's faking us out on this one. But that would be the logical way to string that together.
I could see that going either way. It could either be a plot point, or it could just be some like grandiose cliffhanger thing.
No, we just forget about from the next episode.
Or it doesn't get brought up or something.
I know that a lot of people are saying, "Oh, Poppy's the timeless child," and I really hope that that's not the case, because that would be three small black or person of color children who would be mistaken for the timeless child. It just really goes into the trope
on in a colonial manner.
Hey,
yes.
wait a second, all people of color look alike, and I hope that that is not the case, because that would be bad.
Dumb. I don't think I can rule that out as a possibility.
I want to rule it out. I think it's dumb.
I think I'd like to rule it out. I don't
dumb and racist if that's the case. See, you remember her? It's not quite the same black person, but it is a black person. You know, there would be awful racial connotations if they decided just to have another black person as the timeless child, but not the same talent.
But I mean,
that's what I mean.
If it's his and Belinda's daughter, that raises a whole bunch of consent issues too. Like, because they didn't ask to be in this world, and I don't think either of them, for different reasons, wouldn't be down with that. So
yeah,
so that's
over
weird
having a child?
too. No, if they're in this world, they're under the control of the Ronnie. They're basically being forced to have a child together. He's gay. She never asked to be impregnated.
They didn't have a child together. They think they'd had the child.
They think they have the child.
Right. But then he says Poppy is real. So
yes,
I have a daughter, is what he says, and he says that as the doctor. So who knows?
Is he thinking in his head, I have a daughter, but the only daughter he can think of right now is, well, remember, I have a daughter, so it's not Susan, because Susan's a granddaughter,
Maybe
obviously.
He's referring to some daughter we've never seen, which would be complicated.
No, I think he's still thinking that Poppy's his daughter. I think he still isn't quite, that's what I was gonna. So
it's a bit of a minefield, no matter what.
A little bit. When he has the little flashback and he goes, "Oh, I remember," and all the quick little shots of doctors are, and you notice that they start on Hartnell and all the way through, and then they throw in Joe Martin after Jodie Whittaker. So
no Richard E. Grant though.
No Richard E. Grant. That's right.
For Poppy and the whole Space Babies thing.
Right.
A couple things there. Number one, I don't want to have to watch Space Babies again.
Fair.
To get stuff, like depending on what they do with Poppy,
right?
Is it the same Poppy from Space Babies? Is it just a fabrication as part of the Wish world? Is it like, I don't know. We're hopefully going to find out.
But
don't forget that in Space Babies, right off the bat, the Doctor also mentions the Ronnie. So we already have, because he's.
I did forget. When was that?
I just brought up the script here.
Thank you.
I was adopted, and the planet that took me in, they're kind of posh. They'd use titles like the Doctor, or the Bishop, or the Ronnie, or the Conquistador. Say Doctor for 1,000 years, and it becomes my name.
Gotcha.
It's
throwing in
the line from Space.
And just to
planting the seed. Yeah.
Further muddy the Poppy waters. She shows up in Story of the Engine walking around. So is that something the Ronnie did? Is she just a projection of the Ronnie? Who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Answers are not there for questions that we have.
Maybe
that's true.
So answers on a postcard.
Yeah,
and then that's the theme of this as a whole. There's so many questions.
Lots of questions. Yeah.
Like in my notes, I put down Poppy is the Doctor's actual daughter? ? Stay tuned for answers to questions like this, and about the walking skeletons and whatever. At least we had better get answers. There's a lot of stuff here that's thrown at us, and a lot of it needs more. And I mean that's. I'm fine, totally fine with this being a setup story,
right?
And all the proper big stuff happening in the finale. So
the 66-minute finale, by the way.
66-minute finale.
Yeah.
I just hope we actually get it. Because there's a lot of threads to tie up, and I don't know that I trust RTD enough to tie them all.
I know that I don't. trust him enough to tie them all.
No.
That's not to say it won't be a good ending. It could be a good ending, and he doesn't tie everything together, but we'll see.
I mean, past precedent has not been kind. Let's face it. Listen, I know people have said we've been negative on Doctor Who in recent weeks, but I'm just trying to think. Like,
including dumping a massive amounts of praise on the story in the engine. Yeah.
Well, I know, but as one. I'm just trying to think. Like, just dating back to last year, how everybody really hated Empire of Death.
Man, for good reason. It wasn't great.
I know, and we're kind of getting like. We're a little bit verging on that now with just the reveal of a very, very important character from the 1970s showing up, and what's he going to look like? I wonder. Is it going to be
fabulous 70s, or is it going to be balloon face 90s, which at the time, or 80s?
Or 80s, yeah.
Which at the time I liked, but
something completely different.
Where's the Urgon? That's what we're all thinking.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing: when you look at like the little bone palace and everything, right? Like you could see like there's little bones and stuff like that.
Those guys are cool. I like.
With the what guys?
The Hellraisers is
with the
optometrist,
the clone of What I'd like to is when you look at the bones and everything, it does kind of remind you of.
Oh yeah.
The bones, the rib cage of the Urgon. Is this basically the Ronnie's way of saying to Omega, look, please come forth into my world. I have made my bone palace to look like your best friend, the Urgon.
I really hope it's not that convoluted.
Mentioning
Omega's bad enough without throwing the Urgon in there.
Right.
We've had Omega's voice at the end.
From Big Finish. Yeah.
Okay, fine, I'll bring that up. Omega's lines are taken from the Gallifrey story in Intervention Earth, the first time archive audio from Big Finish has been used in television Doctor Who.
Wow! So Big Finish and Dimensions in Time now officially canonized.
Because in the past, obviously we've had in was Night of the Doctor, the Doctor talking about like Charlie and Chris and the companions from Big Finish. But that's the first time we've had actual Big Finish
for audio.
Yeah.
Michael Wilson in the chat says, "Don't forget the gel guards. Don't you think for 1 second I've forgotten the gel guards? I would love to see them show up in their original form, doing
right?
As I was saying earlier,
somebody has to say "Holy Moses." Somebody will say, and it's going to be awful. We're going to laugh at first, and then we're going to groan. We're going to laugh and then groan, just like they do in like. I don't know. Like, didn't they make a new Alien movie? And basically, they had everyone just
ruins
lines of other movies and that. And just
get away from her, you be. Which doesn't make any sense with the character that says it.
Yeah, or like Spock yelling Khan and Star Trek.
I actually swore at the screen in the theater when I saw that.
Me too. If somebody screams "Holy Moses," I will both laugh and be angry at the same time. I will be langry. That's what I will be. Yeah.
For Omega.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So again, we've had
his
voice.
Feel free to clip that little bit again for use to next week's episode because that's what we do.
That's your job.
Yeah.
So we've had his voice, and I was saying earlier, I'm wondering if there's a chance that we might not actually properly get Omega.
Maybe it's diffuse.
As others, as Warren has pointed out with the brief next time, and as people in the live stream chat are saying. Maybe we'll just get a disembodied Omega. Maybe we won't
just
actually
get his face as a ghost or something. Yeah,
something like that. I mean, there's
no.
It's a possibility. I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's going to be an actual manifestation person.
Yeah.
Glittery cloak or GTFO, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I know. Like we already did. Like he's already at camp. We already did it.
Camp as hell. Come on.
In '73, we did it, man. All right, we got it. We got the best Omega. Yeah. Top that.
R.I.P. Stephen Thorne.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. RFS live show.
Almost RFS.
Quite.
Yes.
No, we had
several.
No, he was on our show.
Did we?
He was thinking of Bernard Horsfall.
Yeah, you're right.
That was Bernard Horsfall. Sorry.
That was just, I was looking forward to talking to Bernard Horsfall, but anyway.
Yeah. So there we go. We talked about Omega. We talked about Bone Palace, sandwiches, babies, Conrad, all the little books that he has. Were written by I.M. Foreman, the little fake books about Doctor Who.
I'll get to those.
Okay, you'll probably get to what I'm going to say, Chris.
So in the past, dancing, quote unquote. Where's my camera? There it is. Dancing refers to not dancing,
yes.
And then. The Ronnie says to the Doctor, "Oh, they used to say we were lovers." So I don't know. Somebody in the chat earlier said Which incarnation of the Doctor do we think was
My money is
hooked
8.
up with the Ronnie?
I
Oh,
bet you
probably.
it's,
Paul
Paul McGann, handsome fella, and we haven't seen an adventure with the Ronnie. So, although theoretically, if Big Finish is canon now,
I'm
then,
sure that
then we'd have to go through the depths of that.
Listen. I don't know the full Big Finish repertoire, but I am almost certain that Kid O'Mara showed up at some point
Oh,
to be in,
absolutely.
and I'm
Well,
almost
McGann is in half
certain
of
that
Big
McGann
Finish,
will
so,
be
yeah.
in there. Yeah.
So just the law of averages says
Somebody who knows that information will doubtless tell us.
Just spin the Big Finish story suggester wheel randomizer. Just go, okay, we got Paul McGann and Ronnie. Hey, there we go. Put it together, and they win.
I mean, I'm not complaining.
the Ronnie.
Yeah, that's who it was. That's right.
Because I mean,
straight.
yeah.
It was David Bradley's Hartnell.
Because I mean, we could have
Richard Hurndall's Hartnell. Richard Hurndall's
with
Doctor.
With the Mrs. Flood Ronnie making that sandwich for Conrad, very poorly, I might say. You know, maybe the Doctor can be the meat in the Ronnie sandwich.
Is Susan Twist the third Ronnie? What's going on here?
Yeah, you want to talk about her?
Because this is the only time she's shown up, right?
Susan Twist or Mrs. Flood?
No, Susan Twist, because she
I think
shows
Susan
up.
Twist is just good old Susan Twist.
I think
now.
you're right. But why is she in all these different time periods then?
Well, she's not anymore because she was Susan Technology, but now she's not anymore.
So
and now she's just Susan Twist who works at Unit occasionally.
Was that just a way Sutek? Who cares? I tried to figure it out halfway, and I'm like, to hell with it. If RTD's not putting the time in to figure it out, neither am I.
You don't have to
So
worry about it.
obviously, anything that happens with Susan Twist could very easily be hand waved away because this is a wish world that she doesn't doesn't actually properly exist. Whatever. But we see her take up the persona, or whatever you want to call it, including the outfit from the tea lady in the Devil's Cord.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
What are the chances we're going to see Jinx Monsoon next week?
There's always a twist in the end. Oh God, please.
I
no.
feel like all the gods of the Pantheon
also feel
will
like
come
that.
back, and we'll probably do a Jonathan Groff and just all sort of appear and like on a green
Because-
screen to be matted in at some
Susan-
point.
Yeah, they'll all be
Susan
projected
Triad.
above or something.
Yeah.
Susan Trad being associated with Sutek.
Yeah.
And of course the other, as said, in the Devil's Cord.
Yeah.
Well, there's I'd say at least a non-zero chance of having Sutek and or
The rest of them, yeah.
Maestro back.
I wouldn't be surprised if you saw some sort of projection of Doogie Howser up there too, because they're not going to rehire him, but they'll definitely get like 5 seconds from the actual episode or something.
Yeah, he'll be there. Lux will be there. I
Or a
like Lux.
flashback
I like
to
the way it
him.
looks. Yeah. Oh yeah, there'll be something. There'll be the Pantheon of the gods will return, and then they'll all get hopefully banished. Because this is what I'm looking forward to when it comes to the finale. I get a genuine sense that they are going to put all these Pantheon god stuff to bed. I think
Good,
they're
'cause I'm
finally going
tired of
to
'em.
put it away.
Yep.
And
I
I am looking forward to that.
Oh yes.
Is that okay? Is that okay to say that?
Yes.
Hey, it's
looking
the
for
end.
this.
It's the last episode.
Every-
Why wouldn't you be?
Yeah.
Every story needs to have an end,
And they're building up to it. Yeah.
we've had two series of this story.
Yeah.
So I have no problem with it
And-
being wrapped up next
Yeah.
week.
Also, the Doctor's the one who unlocked this somehow in the first place. I guess in Wild Blue Yonder, so he'd be the one to close it up, right? So
And they even mentioned that, which I like, and that's
Yes.
that's how I know that they're basically just going to finally close the book on that. Yeah,
throw away the key.
lock it up. Bidmead will be back, and they'll just be science nonstop. They'll be charged
sweet
vacuum
science, in fact.
appointments, and like it's gonna be we're gonna love it. We're gonna love it. It's gonna
Back
be
to
all
E-Space, baby.
Leisure Hive. Radiophonic Workshop's gonna come back. It's just one guy and his synthesizer.
I like you created your own member berry verse here for yourself.
Just like I don't
In a
want
thing
plot-
full of member berries, by the
Yeah,
way.
I understand making it boring. Yeah, Christopher Bidmead's writing, and it's coming back. 85-year-old Christopher H. Bidmead is the new showrunner of Doctor Who. You heard it here first.
Hey, if Ridley Scott can direct several movies a year
Right?
at age 80, whatever he is.
Bidmead can do it. He can do it. The episode just finished in front of me, Chris, so I think it's time to go to your notes to try to...
Shortest episode of the.
Only for because
That's fine so far.
it's just a bunch of batting cages basically, and it's just like because we're just warming up, as you say, Chris. We're getting to the good stuff next week, and that's the
But I
only...
mean,
Well, I hope we are.
That can
hope
be
we
good. Look, remember I said before, Name of the Doctor is essentially Ant-Man and the Wasp 3 Quantumania, but it's really good. You can have a good version of
Quantumania
that.
sure as heck wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
No,
but
it
that
was
was a
not.
setup for the Day of the Doctor, and I thought it was great, even though it is just setup, really, when you get right down to it.
I remember many, many years ago, whatever year it was,
Right.
going to see Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. So
that's right.
Was that the 8th one, 12th one? I don't even know how many
Sixth.
there are. Sure.
Sixth one, and I watched the 2.5 hours or whatever it was, and I walked out of the theater just saying, "Oh, that was dull. That was just a setup for the finale."
Oh, right.
I saw that in
And-
Japan. So,
Yeah.
but you were
And-
right. It was dull.
And that's been weighing on my mind a lot since watching this yesterday. Is okay, well, yeah, what are we going to get out of it?
That's what I thought watching Empire Strikes Back too. Dull movie. Jeez.
How dare you?
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Of
I
course.
can never tell with you. It is from
Empire
1980. So
It
there's
is
that.
the second best movie, as we
Or is
already
it from 1975, Warren?
No, Flash Gordon comes from 1980, and that's the best science fiction movie of 1980, followed very closely, Warren, by Empire Strikes Back.
Can I just say this for the record? You sicken me.
All right. Chris, what's on your list?
Sure, okay.
Do it. Let's do it. Let's do the list.
Seventh Son of a Seventh Son is the name of an Iron Maiden album.
Forgot about that. Yeah. Kind of throw the horns just because.
It's also something that what's his name?
And it's also from Angus MacReynolds in The Terror of the Zygons.
Hello, Fox N. Exactly. Yep. So are
Did
the
that
Zygons
inspire Iron
back?
Maiden? Question.
Yes, honestly, yes. Angus Lenny did directly inspire.
I mean, they do have a TARDIS in one of their albums, Somewhere in Time, I would believe.
That album was like 88 or something. There's 8 songs on the album and a few song titles could actually tie into what we've seen on Doctor Who lately.
That's true.
Not that
That's
I
very
remember what they are, but
Hey, listen. Our good friend Dave Barsky took me to an Iron Maiden concert at Edmonton, and there was like a big giant robot walking around shooting laser guns. And thinking, why not? We could see exactly this. We could see an Iron Maiden concert on the next week's episode of Doctor Who, and I would
very
not
much
bat
doubt
an
that's
eye.
RTD's jam.
I think. Okay, I'm going to put this out there, and I'm going to regret it and have to dodge hate mail. Iron Maiden covering Dugadoo.
I mean, why? We said off mic before we started this. Much as I like to criticize both Dugadoo and Murray Gold, it is catchy as hell. I got to give him that.
Can
It's not good, but it's catchy as hell.
Can we talk about Murray Gold a little bit?
Yeah, sure.
Just because I don't know if I like him anymore.
I don't think you've liked him for a while.
I haven't, and in this episode, it's like, you know what would have been really cool is that when they're in United Insurance Bureau, whatever it's called.
I thought that was kind of clever.
I liked it. I liked that. I loved the whole.
I love them
vibe
using the
of it.
set. Yeah.
I love the set. What I didn't like is that the music's all jaunty because here we are, and it's all weird. It would have been much more creepy if the world was like there was no music. It just was like, the sounds of like just them. It just would like the sounds of The Office would
but
be
it brings
off.
in the 50s off-kilter vibe. So
Yeah, but it's not 50s.
well,
that's
I got to
the
be
thing.
Chris in this instance. It didn't really register with me, and usually I really does.
You know what?
Does,
It
but
didn't.
it did not
It
with
didn't
me
with me either,
Yeah,
for the
it
most part.
just kind of there.
And,
Yeah, it stuck out for me.
as with other aspects, I've seen a lot of vitriol about Murray Gold's music for this episode. And yeah, like I said, I did. Yeah, exactly. It
Didn't do anything to
didn't
me.
really register.
Yeah.
for
Bad or
me, so
good,
I have no opinion one way or the other. Other than I'm sure I hate it. I will hate it if I actually hear it.
I'll say
Yeah,
this:
it's
I
on its
I
own,
don't. I say I'm trying to go. I'm not. I think that Murray Gold writes music and like will write music for what he wants, and then sometimes I think he's asked to write music for other stuff. Case in point. We talked about, Warren, you mentioned the Capaldi's speech to John Simmon and Michelle Gomez and The Doctor Falls. And that part, Murray Gold said, let's not do any music here.
And he was
None
right.
at all.
In fact,
And he
it
was
was hell
100%
because
right. And I bet you that's Brian Minchin and Stephen Moffat talking there. And I bet you maybe if Russell T. Davies and Phil Collinson were there, there's probably, let's put music in here. Come on, make it sing and make it, we got to feel
And that's not
something
always
here.
invalid either. Like, it depends. But
Yeah, but there's a lot of wall to wall. It would honestly, it would be such a mic drop, literal mic drop, if there was no music for like a big important scene in RTD2 Doctor Who. It'd be like, oh my God, there's no music in this. This is
instance,
amazing,
Devil's Chord, that one sequence of the tuning fork is
Oh!
great because there isn't any music. I mean, that makes sense story-wise too.
yeah,
but it
yeah.
really is effective. And the rest of
I
it
know.
not so much.
Yeah.
After recently watching the Jodie Whittaker Blu-ray sets and revisiting her era, man, I miss Sagan Akinola.
I agree.
So much.
He didn't.
So much.
Yeah, I wish he would have.
It was such a breath of fresh air when he came, and I'm so lamenting his.
Now, would it fit this era?
departure.
Probably not, but yeah.
I think it would, insofar as even though he did like a lot of like the low bassy rumbly kind of
like an atmosphere and
very atmospheric. He also did like the strings and the
later on
the higher stuff and
did a good job.
and it was quite good. And like I've said before, I have never bothered buying any of the soundtrack albums other than his. And
I've got a big Apple Music playlist of all of it, but
really miss Second Akinola so much.
You know what somebody should do is somebody should get the 5.1 copies of the episodes and then remove the music tracks and then put other music in there. I wonder what kind of idiot nerd with lots of time in his hands
I wonder
will do that.
You know what you should do is you should find the original 4K 77 prints of Star Wars and put them over the audio from the Vader sessions.
There we are. Who would do that? No
People,
one.
Please go on YouTube and type in the Vader sessions remastered. I implore you. You will not be disappointed.
Labor of love.
And well done.
Thank you, Warren. Thank you, Warren. Where are we at in your list there, Chris? You got
the child is the fountainhead of a power from beyond this universe.
No,
the child going to be Omega?
No, the child's
Omega.
The child's the other god, but I mean, are they going to use the child as a vessel for Omega?
Maybe.
I mean, the child's still there. It's creepy as hell. Apparently, laughs like the giggle laugh.
Laughs like the
but he's
according to the subtitles, chuckles.
Chuckles
like the giggle. Yes. One thing we didn't cover off last week that came to my attention after the fact. It's not quite a perfect match, but Crystal D did a X of the official Doctor Who podcast, which that hasn't materialized this year. Anyway,
she's no longer with that. That hasn't been her thing for years.
Yeah, no, I know. Well, she still did a guest stint on one of the episodes before.
The official Doctor Who podcast isn't a thing, is it?
That's what I just said. That's what I just said.
I know. I finally put two. I just remember her like back in the Capaldi years, and they didn't do it for. Sorry, Chris. That's how far apart the two were in my mind. Anyway,
Crystal D did a video that was put out on the socials with the Z, I'm sure, talking about how the logo for the Harmony Center in Interstellar was the shape of the notes from the giggle laugh.
That's right.
So that was a little subtle. The only problem is there's 7 notes in the giggle laugh, and there's only 5 actual peaks in the Harmony Arena logo.
Oh well.
So we'll see. We'll see what if there's any tie back to Interstellar next week or not.
My Big Feet returns in a big song and dance special.
Hooray.
Okay, I didn't really talk about this last week. I'm gonna get on my freaking high horse.
Here we go, everyone.
So one of the things that
2008 Chris is back, everyone.
Yeah.
Boom.
Never thought I'd cheer for it, but here we are.
So one of the things that was talked about with Interstellar was how RTD wanted it to celebrate Eurovision and not like be a mockery of it or whatever. Right. And the only music we got other than the finale song is exactly that. 'Cause he had nothing to do with the writing of the music. He left that to mostly Murray Gold.
Yeah.
And we did get an absolute mockery of Eurovision, and that just drives me up the wall and really bothers me. Right. And the Big Feet song. I'm not allowed to swear here, but if I could,
don't swear. Don't swear.
It would string of expletives.
Don't swear. Don't swear. You wouldn't swear at Dugadoo. You wouldn't swear at Dugadoo. Okay, Dugadoo is fine.
I might actually swear at Dugadoo.
You wouldn't swear at him. Don't
swear.
Okay,
I have a partner who has Dugadoo as their wake up alarm on their phone in the morning.
Kat, what have you done?
I mean,
that's awesome. That's pretty awesome, actually. Dugadoo.
Yeah. All right.
It's hard to hate him. Even though I want to.
It's great. I love him. It's my favorite thing of the RTD2 era. It's Dugadoo.
And
the
set. Baby Yoda.
And the set. He is my baby Yoda. I know. I love him. Look at him. Well, don't look at him. I don't have him up there, but anyway. Go on, Chris. I know you all our Warren and I have tried to do several times over the years about Eurovision, but we know that you love it.
You love it, and we're not going to yuck you.
Unironically.
Honestly, yes.
So
I don't understand, but Obviously, I accept.
Here, exactly. So good on you, Chris. I support your stance on yours.
Yeah, you are valid.
Yeah.
When so the six boys sitting at the table, when they're turned into ducks, they're all actually male mallards. So they did insofar as they didn't just take random ducks that could be male or female. They're all actually male ducks.
How can you,
Oh, really?
Actually, I don't know if I want the answer to this, but how can you tell?
Plumage. It's a bird.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. Did somebody watch Hinterland Who's Who, all right? You know?
Bird sexing, especially when adult, is quite easy.
Listen, if
based
you want
on their
stupid
plumage.
movie knowledge, I'm here for you. Birds,
I love this.
not really.
I love this. I did not have this on my bingo card.
No, I did not. I'm going to throw
is-
out my bingo card now, actually.
Chris, you are a multitude today. This is great. This is good stuff.
You possess and are multitude.
Yeah. There we are.
The Ronnie kissing the child allows her to borrow his wish powers.
Yeah.
Already talked about that.
So that seems silly. Does very much seem silly.
What do you want, though?
I don't know.
I don't know what I want. That's the whole problem with this whole era. I don't know what I want.
If you could rewrite that plot vehicle, to turn the boys into ducks, to turn the wife into violets, to whatever. Also, side note, in Unleashed, I loved when the first thing you see about the horse in the behind the scenes is the horse pissing on the ground.
There's a lot of
micturating, as they say.
Okay, here's what I wouldn't want to see because it would be too old. But if this was Kate O'Mara's Ronnie, she'd run in there, slap everybody, and take the baby. And then she'd leave and say something camp, and that'd be the end of that. There'd be no magical nonsense.
Well, she did pretty much
be
say
abusive.
something camp. That's true. Yeah, just a laser to, pew, pew, pew. But that's, But she didn't have to do that because she's using the baby and the wish power of the baby.
Yeah, and
Born in Bavaria in 1865 to a seventh son of a seventh son.
Her turning people into trees makes more sense, sadly. And that don't make no sense.
That's true. Well done. Yeah, that is... think about that when you're watching Mark of the Ronnie again for the 80th time. As
Also
I know a lot of you will
scienticians of the age. which seemed ridiculous at the time.
And now it's...
But seems less silly.
Yeah, second place. Yep.
On a somewhat related tangent, the Ronnie had a Sonic.
That's a cool look. And in the Unleashed, they explained how they modeled it after like her outfit. There's a little band that is modeled on the texture of it. It was interesting to see how they built it to sort of thematically go with her, and I was like, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it was actually kind of good. To get to what Warren was going to bring up earlier, the Doctor books that Conrad has, they're all written by I.M. Foreman.
Yep.
The one we see definitely on screen is Doctor Who and the Deadly Wish. The ones we don't see, which were put in...
what are the editors of...
promo pictures.
Yeah. They weren't actually promo pictures. It was the editor.
That's why I have so much trouble finding the darn things.
Yeah.
But before you get in there, Warren.
Okay, sorry.
So the ones we don't see are Doctor Who and the Big Bad Wolf.
Nice.
Doctor Who and the Pandorica. Doctor Who and the Last Time War. Doctor Who and the Timeless Children. Doctor Who and the English Rose. Doctor Who and the Runaway Bride.
That's cool.
English Rose, is that Rose?
We see, so there's 7 altogether, where there's one that Conrad's reading. On the desk in the background in one of the scenes, you can definitely see 6 other books. And for better or worse, the stylization of the covers is all old school Harry Potter stuff.
That's what I was going to say. When I worked in a bookstore in the 90s, Raincoast Books, who must have made a mint off of this because they got it when it was the first book and nobody knew any better. That was exactly what those old books looked like. I clocked it as, those are OG Harry Potter. Not because I read them because I don't care, but because I remember those books coming in by the truckload. Like into Audrey's Books Edmonton, shout out, and it looked exactly like those. So it's burned into my brain what those books look like because we sold so many of them, right? And so I was like, that's OG Harry Potter because that's exactly what the covers were.
Here I was looking at the way the Doctor Who logo was, and I thought, is that the same typeface as the Troughton logo? Because that's all I know.
I mean,
I don't know.
They could have mixed and matched that too.
That's
Who
true.
knows? But yeah, it's definitely made to look intentionally like old Harry Potter books.
Yeah, I did not go so far as to look at typefaces.
No wonder did I.
Now I regret that, and that'll be my next week. It won't.
Won't be.
Okay, this is where I go into a little bit of a rabbit hole.
Here we are. Let's do it.
There's a bunch of, for some reason, there's a bunch of references to India in this story.
That's true.
So the baby is Desiderium, the god of wishes, the most powerful god of all.
Okay.
Desi is taking from Wikipedia here. Desi is a loose term used to describe the peoples, cultures, and products of the Indian subcontinent and their diaspora, derived from Sanskrit desa, meaning land or country. So dirium doesn't really mean anything. It's just some faux Latin. It's the best I could find.
Something made up.
So desiderium is this kind of based on Sanskrit word, of course. So of course the baby is born in Bavaria. Like, the hell?
Because we have a forest ready. And
if you want to get really weird, a lot of Sanskrit or like Indian culture was cribbed by the pseudo nonsense of the Nazis, because they're like, oh, these are true Aryans, and that's why the swastika, for instance, and there's other stuff too. Yeah. So I'm sure that was not the intention of RTD.
Not in 1865. Bavaria.
No, true.
No.
Ronnie
before reunification. Yeah.
Rani means queen in Sanskrit.
Yeah,
which
that we've always
Punjabi
which
calls
has
out.
been-
Yeah, we all. I mean, that
Yeah.
was known even when Pip and Jane
Oh, yeah,
were
that's
thinking of the name of the character.
decades
yeah.
old. Yep.
Yeah.
When Mrs. Flood brings Conrad the sandwich, he takes a break from his broadcast, and viewers are shown pictures of India.
India. Yeah.
Episode director Alex Pillai is of Indian heritage.
Indeed. Belinda. Maybe you're getting there, but Belinda and obviously their whole family.
Yeah.
She said
Making
biryani, and I was
biryani.
like, I want biryani now.
Me too.
Poppy wants a cat. The Smith's house is 11 Calico Avenue. So calico, obviously a type of cat.
Cat nuns. But
Hell
also,
yeah.
calico is a fabric, an Indian fabric from Calicut. And it's also used as a British and Indian name for girls.
Did not know that.
Are one of the cats in the musical Cats, are they calicos as well? And will cats be appearing in Doctor Who? Because I wouldn't be surprised.
I don't know and I don't care.
Okay.
I've seen the movie.
By which I mean the movie,
Assistance.
not the long-running Broadway play, the movie version directed by Todd. What's his name?
Idris Elba is not, whatever. I don't care.
Judi Dench is the cat.
It's a
main
terrible
cat
film, by the way, in case
It's
you're
one of the
wondering.
worst films ever made, and also very camp.
Isn't Jonathan Groff in it? I don't know if he is.
I don't think so. Anyway, sorry, Chris, derailed it.
So anyway, calico is a fabric from Calicut in India. So as Kat says, the episode features calico, named after weavers, because the next episode will have looms.
Boom.
I actually called this on social media. I said
It's
it's going to be
looms.
looms, isn't it?
It's
going to be
looms.
looms.
It's looms. Somehow it's looms.
They're going to work looms in here somewhere.
Going back to
I
Long
mean, that's
Barrel.
what those Hellraiser dudes are doing on those. They're typing things. They're
That's
actually
right.
writing looms.
Oh,
And again, I did really like them. They looked weird as hell, and I thought they were cool.
They look awesome. They
in
look
the end,
really
in the
awesome.
end credits, it's going to say "Looms" by Mark Platt, and that's what it's going to say.
Desiderius is Latin for something wished for. There we go. Even better.
There it is. At least there's
Even better. I
there's-
looked up dirium, not dirius, so I got like no results. But
Chris, I'm impressed by the amount of effort you put
That's
into
impressive,
this.
yeah.
Yeah, that is cool.
I concur.
You know,
my question is, how much of this is actually just, RTD being smart and putting these links in there that. or is
Probably
it
not
just
that much.
Me digging too deep. for no good
I
reason?
mean, he doesn't know anything about music or sports, but he might know these
He knows what he likes when it comes to music, and he has,
That's
to be
true.
fair, employed pop music quite well within Doctor Who.
pop music, but not actually written music. Is what
No, but other people's
Including-
good music in
Yeah.
pop vein, he has.
the same
Yeah.
Britney Spears.
Yeah,
but he-
the same Britney Spears
Yeah.
song twice.
But he thinks that catch is a sport, and that was like the oldest game ever. And I think, is it really?
Even I know that's not a sport, and I couldn't
It's like
care less.
I just the
That's the
the
whole,
end.
that's the whole basis of Field of Dreams, yo.
I know, but it's not a. There's a father and
It is-
son
it is a climax,
reconnecting
yes.
through this, and then they make it into a game, and at the end of the giggle, it still bugs me. Like, doctors, throw the thing 20 foot over the toy maker's head. And said, "Oh, looks like you lost. Well, you better die and become a tooth in somebody's." Who picked up that? Who picked up?
Presumably the
tooth
Ronnie,
on-
because I saw
or the
somebody
ring?
doing forensics where the
Are we?
same.
Oh, the
polish.
same
Yeah.
nail polish color.
Right.
Yeah, I
Oh,
saw
okay.
that too. I saw
okay,
that too.
good. Oh, thank God. That's going to come out. That's going to be mentioned.
It's gonna have to. If we're getting a wrap up of the Pantheon or whatever, then yeah, that would have to.
It would make sense, yeah.
Got to be in there.
With the toy maker,
Yeah.
I'd be interested to know if they actually did, like they did with Jonathan Groff, just shoot a little bit of extra footage back in the day.
I mean, they might have, yeah.
because everything was filmed back to back, more or less continuously.
I mean, that would be smart for them to do with all these
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
Sure.
It would be.
Like Alex Ply in, I think it was the BBC Press interview, was talking about how he that somebody asked, the question was like, how did it feel coming back to Doctor Who? And he's like, well, I did Joy to the World, and then went right into season 2, so it wasn't even really a break.
How did you enjoy your 6 days away from the Doctor Who set?
Yeah, may as well be.
And hey, next week, welcome to the Miniscope, Alex Sanjeev Pillai. That'll be 3 episodes.
There will be 3.
Will it be 3? Yeah, we're counting
check
as
if
3,
I've
right?
got them on the list yet.
Well,
at least one of the TV sets in Unit HQ is made by Magpie Electricals.
Good. That's kind of member berries I can get behind.
Definitely been a fairly regular thing across the years, after RTD left. The first time. Susan Twist in her attire from the Devil's Cord. Will we see Maestro as part of the Pantheon in the finale? If Kate and Ibrahim dated, Kate wouldn't have to work as it's undignified.
1950s and all that.
1950s, I guess. That makes more sense. Because I'd put in something about like Conrad, as much of a dick as Conrad is, he's not. Right. He hasn't really shown a misogynist side as such.
Treated Ruby pretty terrible.
He treated Ruby terribly, but that's probably because that's who Ruby was. That's because of who Ruby was, who she associated with.
I suppose.
But he also has a podcast.
Yeah, he's an edgelord. So I mean, all those guys are not exactly non-misogynists. So. Right.
But so like it didn't really feel right that Conrad was putting this like misogynistic spin on things. But the 50s thing actually kind of does make a little bit of sense.
Yeah.
But it's also kind of patchy because Kate is in charge, right? And nobody questions that, even though it's a patriarchy thing. So that's true. Not that I'm complaining, and I don't mind if it's patchy, but I noticed that.
That's only she's not married.
Oh, right.
Oh, that's true. She drives a hard bargain. Like, come on, 2 minutes prior, you should be there. Come on, be at work.
On time is late, etc., etc.
Once again, even in Wish World, units' business practices are questionable at best. Yeah.
Where am I here? Ditto Ibrahim's reaction to the Doctor's beautiful man statement. Homophobia isn't really Conrad's bag, but again, the 50s.
I thought that was suitably chilling. Like, it really casts a pall over everything. I'm like, whoa! And I like how RTD is able to do that. I'll give him that. He's good at that sort of turn to
that turn left, mood. As it were.
Yes, a turn left, just mood swing kind of a thing. I like how he does
it definitely changed the tone of the conversation. That's for
sure. Yeah.
Conrad is described as the boy who wants the world to be better. A wish from the heart. Does he? I don't know. Because I don't know what he. He even talks. I mean, yeah, he does suck. That's the point. Is so he can do this.
His version of
nonsense.
better is bad. So
yeah. So it creates the doubt that Durrani's going to do something with, presumably. The baby chuckled like the giggle laugh.
I mean, it's probably the world that Conrad makes is probably so fragile that it's an easy enough one to dismantle when the time comes, maybe.
And edgelords live in a world full of contradictions that you dare not tell them about anyway. So this is just more of that, I guess.
And he's also shown as having difficulty keeping things together as well.
Right.
Mrs. Flood still has the jail cell keys on her waist.
Yep. Got a flashback too. Remember that time when we let you out of the jail?
3 episodes previously.
Ago. Yep.
Yeah.
When we last talked, Doctor, and the Doctor's like, "What?" Or not even John Smith is, what are you talking about with us?
Conrad is like king and ruler and emperor and god. Please do not make him a pantheon god.
Oh, the god!
I want him to come to a bad end.
Have him defeated and forgotten about. And what if spoil our screens again?
Here's my terrible theory. What if Omega takes over his body? Because he did have to take over a body in 5 Doctors, it being the Doctor's body.
Sure. That would make a lot more sense than him taking over the baby.
Yeah, but it would also suck. So.
It would. Yeah. Oh, God. The more you say that, the more I think it's going to happen now.
Sorry.
Okay. That's it. We're already ruined my next weekend.
Oh, well. It's all my fault. Yep.
Yeah. Some ugly ADR as Mrs. Flood walks out of the house and down the path after Belinda and the Doctor get
noticed that. The interesting thing is that during Stefan's work experience on Unleashed, they were shooting that scene, and there's there's a whole bit of dialogue from Belinda that from Berta Sethu that never makes it into the actual episode. And then oddly enough, though, you see the raw audio from that, and Mrs. Flood is saying that. And it feels like it's peaking a little bit, and I'm wondering if it was like literally overdubbed because there was a technical problem on the audio. But when you're doing that, like this is what I hate about ADR is like they do it like in a perfectly confined studio, and they're outside and they're walking, and they should be like come on, that's
get some field audio, come on.
Right,
and that's on the main unit actually to get field audio.
It was very, very jarring.
It was. Yeah, I didn't like that.
The drone.
We
guard,
are nitpickers. Yeah,
we are. The drone guards are the same as in Interstellar Song Contest.
They weren't they?
So
I was wondering about
perhaps
that.
the Rowdy has a bigger role in Interstellar than we've seen so far.
Or maybe they thought, listen,
or they're just reusing costumes.
Obviously, the drone guards.
Or she just took them from
from
Harmony Arena and took them with her.
Because they were obviously not reliable.
What happened to her penchant for buff young men? Like
Sam West, in Dimensions in Time?
Samuel West is going to make an appearance next week as her companion from Dimensions in Time. Now a noted actor and has been in the new version of All Creatures Great and Small. He's in that. And he'll be in next week's episode at the cameo. Everything's going to be in next week. Whatever you want, it's going in next week.
Well, it is the reality war, so whatever reality you subscribe to.
Yeah.
Looking through the stuff online and even the live stream chat here, with like people throwing questions out left and right about plot point X, Y, Z, whatever. Yeah, great. Ask the questions. No harm in that, but don't expect answers till next week.
or at all.
Also, don't effing downgrade.
Oh dear.
Oh,
don't downgrade your score. So the quiet part, quiet enough, maybe. No, probably not. Don't downgrade your score of this episode because of that.
Right.
That is, as I said before, that's completely unfair to the episode.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah. It's like this game sucks right now. You went this game at halftime where you're like, you're down by 3 points. Yes, this is the worst game ever. I'm already going online to talk about how bad it is. Well, hasn't ended yet. Yeah. You can still lose. You can still lose by a lot more points yet. Don't worry.
From a time standpoint, you have literally 40% of the information.
Very true.
I'm wondering if we're going to get some stuff back with Interstellar with the guards. Anyway,
probably.
When the world is collapsing, you see a building with Gesteta on the side. Gesteta was the name of the company that ran the colony base in the well.
Oh, okay.
Oh, neat. Okay.
So we're getting a bit of a callback there. Whether it's going to amount to anything or not, we'll find out. Maybe
we'll find out. 66 minutes of stuff to cram in. I mean, it can be a lot to sit around.
As far as nitpicking, etc., is concerned, my absolute favorite thing of this episode, during the collage of the past Doctors, the image of William Hartnell is actually the Abbot of Amboise from the Master, not the Doctor.
What? So was that an actual clip, or was that?
It was a colorized still frame or whatever.
It was a still frame. Okay.
Like the thing is on the screen for 5 frames.
Right.
Like it's super quick.
It was a still, obviously, because there's literally no moving footage of the massacre exists. Which would be hilarious if that was the way to actually break it to the world. Actually, we've discovered episode 3 of the massacre. What do you think about that?
I mean,
it's a rumor. I'm told I meant to be starting this episode.
I don't know who the editor is, but if they're a giant Doctor Who nerd, I would not put it past them to find a frame of the massacre and sneak it in because it's legit to anybody watching.
It could be an Easter egg. I mean, it's still William Hartnell, but yeah, I find it really amusing
like
that it's not even the Doctor.
Salamander pops up there. And the Doctor
it's all the alternates.
Why not?
Colin Baker is what's his Maxwell.
Why not have
Why
not have Tom Baker with
cactus
face. Exactly. Stuff on his face.
Maxwell.
Max.
I don't think there's a
McCoy
never one.
No, McCoy never did. McGann, no. McGann will just be McGann for
John Williams in the chat. I'd be happy to never see a montage of the old Doctors again. When we saw them in the next Doctor, we're like, oh my God. And now I'm like, all right, enough.
And now it's like, yeah, we know what Doctors look like. All right. Yeah.
Poppy is the Doctor's actual daughter. Yeah, we'll find out more about that. Presumably,
more about that.
There's Sita Thomas credited as the intimacy coordinator, which I guess
The two of them in bed, I assume.
the Doctor and Belinda in bed, or the
Yeah.
fact that they kiss. Maybe I don't know.
Oh, I guess so. Yeah.
But
Yeah,
it's-
you probably have to have an intimacy coordinator, no matter how
Yeah.
it is, right?
I know
So-
they had an accessibility
the-
coordinator for
yeah,
the camp
with a bit of a
the-
feature in Unleashed as well,
Yeah.
which is good.
Which,
I like that.
great, yeah. And I actually,
Yeah.
just to jump in for a second, I really liked all the disability stuff in this. I thought it was really interesting.
Especially after seeing the interview with I don't recall her name.
Bruce
with
Madeley.
Yeah.
No, the accessibility coordinator.
Oh,
person.
sorry. Sorry. I
Talking
didn't
about
catch the
how the shanty town has different colored tents. And
Yeah,
things
yeah.
Like that. As a colorblind person, Stephen, I don't know if that made much of a difference to you, but
Shaking my head.
but
I could see all colors. Just some of them look the same to me. All right. It's not that big of a deal.
but they along with other things, they put actual effort
Yeah.
into that stage. Of
That's
this
what
production.
they did. Yeah.
One thing I liked about the Shantytown is and it's not subtle because it's RTD, but it's more subtle than the rest of it, is they're walking and she catches a glimpse of a drag queen. She does kind of a triple take on that because you'd never see that in
They
this
fuck
world,
with
right?
rocks and
And I
drag,
thought that was
yeah.
kind of clever. It's like, this is another person that's been sidelined.
Yeah. Can we? I don't know if you have any points left on your thing there, Chris.
2.
The two, but since we're on this, I want to mention it.
Mm-hmm.
So Ruby Sunday is the one that's basically the spearhead of everything on this, and Belinda is not, and we're 7/8 of the way through this season.
Yeah.
with
Belinda
Belinda
keeps
as a
getting-
new companion.
Belinda
and
keeps getting fridged.
who is she? Who is Belinda?
Yeah.
She is. I like Verita Sethu. I like the way she's been performing here. Her one thing to do in this episode is to run into the forest and scream, and then rat out the Doctor. She is a severely underwritten companion that I don't know what her deal is, to be honest.
Bill was a one and doneer, had more to do.
Right? I know. Like Bill. Bill was a one and doneer one season and was great.
But she got a bunch of stuff. She also got fridged, to be fair.
And basically everything that happens below, the episode starts and Belinda says, "You have to get me home." That's what we know. That's all we know about Belinda. We got to get her home.
Yeah. And
Okay.
her dad sings poorly.
Her dad sings, and she has a mom. And we met her mom, and she has a grandma as well.
Presumably.
We know more about Yaz's mom. And
No, she called her
Yeah.
auntie, so it does. It might be an actual aunt. It might be just an older friend of the
friend.
family.
Okay, so
In the subtitles, it says aunt
yeah.
for whatever it's worth. But
Anyway, it's been frustrating, and the fact that they actually had, kept last year's companion around to basically be the catalyst for this entire episode.
I think we can talk about that a little bit later on when we get certain action figure related news.
Yeah.
I think we can bring that up then.
Yeah.
So more on that later. Hopefully, you remember.
Yeah.
As has been the case with other episodes, the Disney Plus version has an American Humane tag at the end of the credits. So for the duck/owl/horse.
That's right.
I guess that makes sense for this one.
And then very lastly, according to both Gatwa and RTD in Unleashed, the Rani was brought back because Ncuti Gatwa asked for it.
That's true. I heard about the Ronnie.
We might not have had her back if that request hadn't been made by Ncuti.
Hey, probably worked for the Zygons when you think about it,
A quick side question, because I don't watch it. How much is Verita Sethu in Andor?
Pretty prominent in one of the arcs in season 1 and has an
first
appearance
season,
in season 2 as well.
Okay.
So,
And not to spoil things, but
but
yeah.
but notable.
stuff in
Like
season
whenever
2,
she appears, it's not just to be in the background. She's like there's a reason for it, and and she's good.
Okay.
She is great in Andor.
Everybody's great in Andor.
Andor, everyone. Star Wars Andor.
Well, stop talking about it because people are sick of it by now.
I know. Yeah, I know. It's been a couple weeks now, so I feel like my euphoria over Andor has faded somewhat, and maybe that's why I enjoyed this week's Doctor Who episode more than I thought I would. Perhaps
I have half the score on my phone, so.
Oh, I know the score's so good of Andor. Anyway, enough about Andor. It's a good show. You should watch it if you haven't watched it. It's pretty slow in the beginning, but hey, it builds. So there you go. Anyway. Is that it? Yeah. Is that it there for your?
That's everything I had.
All right. Well.
Yeah. If you maybe you did like it more than the rest of us. I didn't dislike it. I didn't like it.
I'm just kind of middling on it.
I didn't dislike it. This is very middling. Just because again,
Pleasantly middle.
Because I went into this expecting nothing. Like I didn't expect any answers. I just expected build up. That's what we got.
Yeah.
I mean, on that front, it absolutely delivered.
It-
As a standalone thing to review, that just makes it really difficult.
It always has been, hasn't it? Especially with RTD two-parters. I feel like Moffat two-parters will often do
Well, I would find
episode one.
Moffat two-parters be even harder because part 2 has generally nothing to do with what part
Which
1
is so
covers.
great about it, which is great.
Yeah,
in a way,
that was
you know?
we
But it
were
also
kind of like
it makes it really hard.
Yeah.
I just remember with Pandora and Big Bang, we were worried that this is going to be like an RTD two-parter, and it turned out to be completely the opposite of that,
Yeah.
which was a great relief at the time.
It really was. It really was. Yeah. Well, next week, everyone, it's the finale. 66 minutes, all at the same time. All at like, presumably it's on at noon. Well, it's on at 6:50 p.m. on BBC One. I don't know when it's going to officially roll if you're watching it in the theaters in the UK, and I'm hoping that Disney Plus will actually drop it at 50 minutes to the hour.
Rather than 10 minutes later on the hour.
Yeah, because I don't want the UK being 10 minutes ahead of me.
I bet you the UK does.
Yeah. I'll watch it at 1.5 times speed to catch up. What do you think of that?
Well, I
Okay,
guess you showed
podcasting.
somebody. Not sure who, but
Yeah. I mean, if you were a sicko, you could literally at the start of every single episode just
Yes,
how does this thing end? And just scrub right to the end. Just watch it.
I would never do such a thing. In fact, I never scrub through. On first watch, I'll never scrub through the credits or skip the intro.
Oh God, no.
On religious
Never.
grounds. I did in the second time because I'm like, well, whatever. but the first time, never.
For Doctor Who?
What?
Yeah, for Doctor Who.
Yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad that they put Millie Gibson in the opening credits.
The opening
Oh, yeah.
credits. Yeah.
Speaking of those,
Yeah. So anything left about Wish World? You got
Nah,
anything
not
else,
really.
I'm
Well,
sure-
Susan
Yeah.
very briefly makes an appearance.
Very
How do
briefly,
we think
Susan.
that's going to play out?
Oh, she'll show up. She'll show
Yeah,
up.
I think she will. Maybe in
are
person.
we gonna? Yeah, I was gonna say, are we gonna like see her in the flesh, or just like images
Why would she be on the TARDIS set otherwise?
Is what based here?
for appearance?
I know,
Here's
but I'm just saying, like, it'd be,
theory
you're
time.
missing something if you don't do it.
What if not Siri time, Apple? My phone turned on because of that. Theory time. Sorry to everybody else's iPhones who did the same thing that mine did. What if Susan being in the TARDIS is actually the one thing that is remaining in the reality that the Doctor needs to be pulled back to?
And Rogue as well.
Nope. Rogue's in Wish World somewhere. Everything else is in Wish World, but the Susan and the Doctor, and then that's what's going to happen, and then the whole series will end for 9 months until it comes back as a 3-part Christmas special on BBC One in 2026.
BBC Three.
BBC Three will just start it small and then build it
Yeah.
back up again. I'm
After
wondering.
all, that's how it all started.
I'm wondering if there's a tie to what the Doctor's actual reality is, and it being involved with Susan and the TARDIS is just me. Haven't thought about it until literally this exact moment.
I could, yeah, same thing. I could just see him falling in that balcony, and all of a sudden he's on the TARDIS. Right, and then there's Susan saying, "Go out there and fight." Basically, just like Claire, get off your ass and win. Yeah,
We don't-
in the
we don't
greatest
know
episode
what's
of all
going
time,
on
Heaven
with-
Sent, yeah.
We don't know what's going on with the TARDIS as such.
I haven't even seen
apparently,
it.
she
apparently
says,
this is,
"You wonder where your TARDIS is," and he
this
doesn't.
is this is one of only like a
Handful of modern series episodes
that
yeah.
doesn't have the TARDIS whatsoever. But for all we know, the TARDIS is going to fly on its own and swoop in and pick him up as he falls. So
It's RTD. It would not
Impact.
surprise me one bit.
The Stattenheim remote control. Yeah. Apparently, there's no BBC press previews or anything like that coming out for episode
Yeah.
8 next. So everyone's in the same boat apparently for this one. So
Yeah, I don't. Well, in the UK anyway, for sure. I don't know.
UK,
I don't know if that extends to people with like Disney Plus screening access or whatever.
don't know. So we'll find out. But
Yeah, I don't know. I'm really, really, really of two minds for next week. I'm so looking forward to it because I want to see how this plays out.
right.
I want to see what all this setup like. How they pay off this setup, if they pay it off, how well, how poorly.
But by that same token,
But by the same token,
they?
yeah, it's a really, really annoying place to be.
that's called being a Doctor Who fan.
That's true. Yeah.
Annoying place for
Well,
annoying
that's
people.
not,
Doctor Who.
that's not even getting into like how long till we get the war between, or how long of a hiatus we get after
This. yeah.
reality war or whatever. Not reality bomb. I keep wanting to
I know.
stop reusing titles. RTD.
It ends with a 5-minute monologue by Graham Burke, and he's reading a book and he closes it.
Done.
And
The
that'll
history
be
of the
that.
Time War.
Done. Grant
Yeah.
can't talk about it.
I
yet,
would,
but
That's
deliver it straight to us and nobody else.
Where did I hear this? It was on a recent podcast or interview or something. But Ben Wheatley when he directed
Deep Breath and the other
Deep
one.
Breath and Into the Dalek, and he snuck a snow globe. He wanted to put a snow globe in the TARDIS somewhere on a shelf because that snow globe was in his eyes, was the snow globe from the last shot of Saint Elsewhere. He wanted that entire universe to
Awesome.
actually be in the TARDIS, and I'm
Nice.
wondering if
That
there's
is great. That is some good headcanon.
that's you don't even see it, but it's there. It was
Yeah.
there. So maybe it's something to do with that. Anything else? Before we
Bridge
move
too
on to
far
the
for
rest-
Chris, clearly.
Yeah, rest of this episode.
yeah.
You know,
As far as people throwing, 4 out of 10s or 6 out of 10s or whatever, I'm not even scoring this. I refuse to score this.
I don't like doing scores. I don't
Like I said, I think it's pleasantly middling.
I was diverting enough. I enjoyed it enough.
There's definitely some setup that intrigues me.
Yeah.
That's the upshot.
That's
the
fair.
downside is I don't think it's going to
Maybe decide what this is like when you see it next week.
That's true. I mean, there's a lot
And
of.
I'm still trying to avoid spoilers and whatever and
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. And if I saw something back in the day that I've forgotten about that I get reminded because I see whatever on screen, then okay, fine. But I'm not actively seeking anything out for what happens. I can wait 6 more days.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's lots of
Which,
hockey to watch. Yeah.
In a way, is sad. Remember, and in the RTD1 era, and amongst others, remember just waiting 6 more days and it being absolutely excruciating. And I'm like, and maybe this is an age thing too, but I'm like, yeah, I guess I'll wait 6 days. Well, whatever. I can get on with my day.
I know.
It's a lot easier than it used to be, and I'm kind of sad about that.
I know. Well, I mean, let's face it. Like
Or 7 days between the 2 parts of the end of time.
or even remember, Warren. It's like, oh my God,
best of both worlds. Yeah.
I got my ticket. To go see whatever Marvel Inception movie is on, and then you were there like opening night, and you're ready to watch it. And now it's like, when is it coming on streaming? It's just like you're just I'll get to it when I get.
I remember just to feel me to go way back. I remember in 1990 on
my
Entertainment Tonight seeing the first trailer for Terminator 2, and
Barton
it blew
Fink.
my
Oh, okay.
mind.
Sorry, I thought you were
Barton Fink, not bad.
Right.
but and then waiting a year for it to come out and seeing it opening night, which was awesome, by the way. Paramount, shout out to the Paramount, greatest theater Edmonton has ever had.
Well, on that note, Warren, tomorrow, May 26th, is 1 year to the day till we get Grand Theft Auto 6.
Maybe. So that's another one where I'm like, I guess it comes out when it comes out.
That's true. All right. Is that it? Is that all we got for this here Doctor Who thing? Okay.
I think so, yeah.
We'll just rattle off some more news stuff so
Yeah,
everyone get
hour
the
and a
hell
half,
out of here.
hour and a half of discussion for an episode that really
God, it's
doesn't-
gonna be a Spartacus length epic
I know.
next week.
Well, there are some lovely videos that we want to point you towards unleashing behind the scenes. Verita Sethu interviews Carol Ann Ford, which is kind of
That was lovely.
I was lovely. I love how during the video, like Verita Sethu sort of comes to realize that, oh my God, like I'm the latest in this long chain of Doctor Who
this icon
companions
next to me, yeah.
that begins right here with this lady here from 1963, which is kind of cool. Also, the BBC, in their very, very great wisdom, decided to put up a 24-hour loop of Dugadoo, the song that is lodged in my brain, and I am more than happy to have that too. How fitting is it that a throwaway song by Murray Gold for this Eurovision Song Contest episode is one of his most iconic and enduring tracks? We will never forget Dugadoo.
The fact that he's a cute little guy probably has a lot to do with it too.
Yeah, that's true. We're watching.
He's just
on
a
the
little
live stream.
goofball.
He's
I
a
can't
great little guy. I think they should sell the little guys of Dugadoo. This is your marketing opportunity right here. Not the thing that we're about to talk about.
And you
but
press
Dugadoo.
its chest and it does Dugadoo.
Oh, love it. Let's get little Dugadoos. Come on, BBC Enterprises and Lionheart. You're both still around, aren't you? Let's get something going.
Yes.
I wonder if that's too niche, but I would like that to hit the market. Yes,
I could see it catching on and people not even knowing it's from Doctor Who.
Yeah, that's true.
I can foresee many of those being purchased, not by me,
Well,
not
I'd
by
buy
me,
one.
but
I'd buy
purchased in general for this household.
I would buy one.
I'll wake up and it'll be a room full of Dugadoos.
Yeah.
Like, what hell? Am I in the hell dimension? Is Rogue next to me?
Yeah, in
Steve-
the
Steve-
chat, in
Steve
the chat.
Manfred in the chat says Doctor Who is on Apple Music.
We're going
Dear God.
to need confirmation on that and a link. Chris, please look that up if you don't mind. Just because you're the person that usually looks up these things. No offense, Steve. I just want to see it for myself. Meanwhile, what curious timing. Can we say that?
God, it is too.
Oh my God! Send us a link. We need that on Apple Music. That is clearly
Doctor Who featuring Murray Gold, single by Kieran Berry.
Who's Kieran Berry?
Matt Berry's younger brother. I
don't know,
no
but more by Kieran Berry shows things like South Park, Bigger, Longer, and Uncut, Mr. Ring-a-Ding, Doctor Who theme song, the Goblin song. This is not more by Kieran Berry.
Maybe that's his another songwriting name.
Is this official?
Maybe it's a pseudonym. I don't know.
I see it.
Is
that official?
Maybe that's a pseudonym for Murray Gold or something.
Maybe it's Sutek.
Maybe it's Matt Berry. Maybe Matt Berry's contribution.
He's a huge Doctor Who nerd, so yeah.
He has released his own cover of the Doctor Who theme. So
I know this. Yeah. Maybe it's Matt Berry. What curious timing for this? Doctor Who Barbie. Obviously, we had the first Doctor Who Barbie, which is Jodie Whittaker's Doctor, back in whatever year that was, 2018, 2019, when that came out. Now there is one for Ncuti Gatwa's Doctor Who and Millie Gibbs.
Those are fine-looking Barbies, and those are great shoes.
Those are the shoes that Warren has. I like that. Well, I mean, they look like Barbie and Ken dolls and stuff. But it's just so like so why not the current companion of Doctor Who?
Also true,
fair. Of last year's companion, and why?
Probably because
now?
the deal was struck a couple of years ago. That's probably why.
This does feel like we hammered this out for Comic-Con last year, and we just only now got the
some holdover for whatever reason.
Yeah, it feels like it's kind of a thing of its time, but it's coming out in July, right when Doctor Who is on. It's coming out in July, which is the same month as San Diego Comic-Con, which is intriguing to me, given that
probably where they're going to roll these out. Yeah,
there's a lot of rumors about Doctor Who and its future, and I'm just if there's no new season to promote at San Diego Comic-Con, why have a Barbie doll ready for that same time period?
Because nerds will buy anything. That's why.
I guess they
says
will.
a nerd who buys anything.
Maybe that's what the presence at San Diego Comic-Con is, hey, come to Comic-Con. There's no new Doctor Who to promote, but we got your Barbie dolls, and they got a new hat.
I was waiting for the hat.
I was getting that in before Chris would obviously do that. But
would have been nice to see Belinda.
Yeah.
Along with the others rather than instead of?
Along with, I guess, Yeah. Doctor Who magazine 617 came out this past week, which previewed. I read that Beth Axford wrote the preview.
Yeah, I read that too. Yeah.
For the 2-part finale. I mostly forgot, which is good because I kind of like going into these things, kind of completely cold and clean. And even like here's what to expect on this week's episode of Doctor Who when it came to Wish World, and it was like, this is telling me more than I kind of want to know. And like there's and then the next week, which I almost don't want to even talk about because I feel like this feels like something I don't want to know either. So maybe we won't talk about it. But anyway, there's a bunch of neat stuff in that.
The reprint of The Wheel in Space, which back in the day was a hard to find Target book.
It was because
different cover, as I recall.
It did, as I had and then
black
a different
space Cyberman head.
Yeah,
whatever.
The space station was
the wheel
inaccurate
in the background.
Yeah, it was inaccurate.
Yeah.
But there's a fire. There's a fire in the
know if
Target
that's
warehouse. True. What?
I don't know if the fire in the warehouse is
really?
true or not.
I've
heard that it may not be true, but I don't know.
Is it an old wives' tale? Because
it's possible. As with other things, it's one of those, like, I'm sure somebody who knows more or can recall better,
right?
Will probably let us know.
In that Doctor Who magazine, they had a profile. I think it was the Doctor Who exhibit in Peterborough. I think it is. I could be wrong about that. But somebody has made. Speaking of fires destroying things, from 1986, which is when the Wheel in Space thing was from, the original Time Lord space station from Trial of a Time Lord, the iconic opening shot, that actually was destroyed in a fire at some point, but somebody has rebuilt it using the exact same model to the exact same scale, which is so cool. It remains the greatest shot in Doctor Who.
It really does.
From 1986.
It's phenomenal.
You can feel the weight of that computer-controlled camera spin around. Oh, I love that shot so much.
It never gets old.
If Mike Tucker kept the original design, then that's totally 3D printed. It's totally 3D printable.
Next year, by the way, next year on Radio Free Skaro, this is a promise thing, not a promise thing. We're going to do a 40th anniversary episode just on that opening shot of the Trial of a
I mean,
Timeline.
if anybody was going to do something that stupid, it'd be us.
It'll be like Trial of a Timeline opening shot, second by second podcast, and we'll bring on this episode we're going to talk about the 73rd second of that sequence.
Same
with
as the last
Mike
one.
Tucker. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, pretty much. Same thing goes on here. Next week, the beam comes on. Let's get ready for that.
But that beam blew my mind. Like, cause you see this whole, which on TV you did not see that, guys. On BBC anyway.
Oh man, let me tell you, the younger kids in the audience. Let me tell you, when I saw that in '88, I think, for the first time.
Something like that, yeah, same.
That the feeling of watching that for the first time is one of my happiest and most exhilarating memories of my
so
childhood.
cool. And I had read in Doctor Who magazine about it before I saw it. So
I had no idea.
Well, some fry lore here. My dad went to a conference in Washington D.C. So I went when I was like 14 or whatever it was, and I had a copy of DWM, so I read it over and over and over again, and that was mostly about that model. So,
oh god, it's so good. Oh, just the memory of that. You didn't think we could. Honestly, the memory of that opening shot basically cast a giant shadow of happiness over the next 14 episodes of probably what is subpar Doctor Who. But I'm thinking, listen, how can I disparage something that had that model shot to start with? I can't do it.
It's basically the pod race.
The pod race.
That's really cool. Nothing to do with the rest of it.
Yeah, that's true. Anyway, this is also, speaking of 1986, because I remember when these came out in 86, there is coming in on February 12th, 2026, just after Gallifrey 1, a Doctor Who River Song Choose Your Own Adventure hardcover is coming out.
Neat.
They originally had some Choose Your Own Adventures in the mid '80s that featured Colin Baker's Doctor. I think Philip Martin wrote one. I think Pip and Jane Martin.
I don't know how many were released overall, but I've definitely got some of them over yonder behind me.
River Song's perfect character for it. So.
Perfect character for Choose Your Own Adventure. The only books that I've really ever read in my life. Let's face it.
Good Lord, man.
That are Choose Your Own Adventure books. So I
just ordered a book about London weekend television. So there you go.
That's true. Inspired by the great Frank Muir.
Running the Show, it's called.
Running the Show with Frank. Is it Frank Muir of London Weekend Television?
No, it's the guy, David Doherty, I think his name is.
Anyway,
gotcha. I saw Louis Barf. I'm sorry if I said your name wrong, Louis. Or Lewis. Let's talk about it. I'm like, yeah, I'm buying that.
Yep.
$30, why not?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see what else we got here. We got some Big Finish stuff to tell you about. There's another missing story of Big Finish that is being coming out. What's it called? It's called Axilion. Is that how you pronounce it? Axilion? I think it is. It's coming out September 25. Elixion. It's a Sylvester McCoy story. It was originally written by Robin Mukherjee, who Andrew Cartmel would always talk about on the Blu-ray extras. And I think, I wonder who this person is and what story it is. Well, thanks to Big Finish, you need not wonder anymore. It's coming out September 2025. So. There you go. Also, Call Me Master is coming out. The first one with Sasha Dewan, the wonderful Sasha Dewan.
If you go back one image for
on our live stream here,
the sweater that Sophie Aldred is wearing looks like Adric's tunic.
Just a little bit, actually. Yeah.
Also, the T-shirt that guy in the back has is the trench run from Star Wars.
It is a trench run in Star Wars. Yeah. Did they clear that with Disney before they? Oh no, they had to clear that with 20th
That's probably why his jacket zipped up.
Yeah, that's true. Could you just zip up your jacket there, please? Cannot mention.
That's like the equivalent of 15 seconds on the news.
That's true.
For footage.
That's very true. There's also a lovely video of Bonnie Langford and Colin Baker. Bonnie Langford seen very briefly in this episode, and Colin Baker answering Big Finish listener questions. That's also links in the show notes to watch that. It's always charming to see Colin Baker answer fan questions. Also, our good friend Andrew Smith, who is script editor of the Star Cops range on Big Finish. While Star Cops Conflict returns to Big Finish in 2026, it will be easy to get it at bigfinish.com.
You beat me to it, damn it.
Yes, I did. I just came up with that right now. So
apparently they like stories.
They do like stories. I don't think they like it as much. Oh, they do. I don't know. I can't remember what their catchline is now. But
I think they changed it. I don't remember though.
Yeah. So there. Lastly, a couple of notable deaths in the science fiction and Doctor Who world. Sci-fi writer Peter David has died at the age of 68. I know of Peter David because he was at LI Who once when I was there. But because I think he wrote for Babylon 5, and that's sort of a genre, I guess. But you two probably have more experience in
Star Trek novels in the 90s.
Yeah, and Chris and I were waxing on off air before this about how great some of those novels were. Vendetta, in particular, is an excellent one.
Yeah, right. So good.
Mm-hmm. So, that's sad. He was only 68.
Another creator screwed over by the comic companies that made zillions off him. So,
man,
just like Len Wein, who was a guest at Gallifrey a couple times.
Okay. Well. And also, legendary BBC arts broadcaster, former head of drama or controller of BBC One or whatever his title was.
Big wheel. Yeah.
Alan Yentob has died at the age of 78. Alan Yentob, first, for a lot of Doctor Who fans on this side anyway, came into notoriety when he was asked about the future of Doctor Who on More Than 30 Years in the TARDIS by Kevin John Davies. And then on that call, he's like being very coy about the future of Doctor Who. And then in the 7-Year Hitch, I think, by Ed Stradling, they got a clip from that where he takes a call, and it sounds like he's talking to Steven Spielberg basically about what to do about this Doctor Who thing and everything. Yentob was always a keen supporter of Doctor Who, especially during the Wilderness years. Always wanted it coming back. Always had a love and passion for it. Co-hosted a great documentary with about Russell T Davies in December of 2023. So yeah, that's a pretty notable passing. Alan Yentob, age 78. So there you go. We did it, everyone. We got through the episode of this Radio Free Skaro. It happens a little later than usual, which means there's less time to wait for the next live stream, which is next week, back in its regular time at 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, 10 o'clock Mountain Time for Chris and myself, 5 p.m. in the UK time. We are doing a live stream review of the Season 2 Doctor Who finale. Finality? There will be finality.
There might be some finality in certain aspects.
There well might be. The Reality War, 66 minutes long, which is, of course, as we mentioned, all airing and dropping at the same time in the same places. So, pretty big week coming up here in Doctor Who land. So, join us for that next week. In the meantime, and in between time, I am Stephen in Edmonton.
Warren in Vancouver.
And Chris in Edmonton.
So long for now.
Never stop doing in the meantime and in between times, especially since it gets on Chris's nerves.
It does a little bit. In the meantime and in between time is from Stampede Wrestling in the 1980s in Alberta, if anybody is wanting to know that. But anyway, thanks, live stream. You were great, as always, for tuning up a little later or a little earlier. So just one thing in passing as we say goodbye. By the way, goodbye.